kidneys.
Happy New Year, everybody! It's 2022, and we're all still alive.
I'm taking your kidneys.
Yep, that's just what 2022 will do. It'll take your kidneys.
You can't have them. They're mine. I called dibs.
I already have them. I can give them back, but they are already mine.
But I already called dibs on them.
You need to be faster than me.
Yee. Did not expect when I said see us in the new year that it would be on day one of the new year.
Yes.
Sometimes these things just happen.
But hi, my name's Andy. I play Kenta, and I got really drunk last night.
Like, how drunk we talking?
Like I stumbled home and I almost fell up the steps.
It's always impressive when you defy gravity accidentally due to drunkenness.
Yes, that's me.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I am Armored Hunter, and I am quite tired due to running a lot of games that were not streamed. But yes, I am here.
Shit. I'm next. Sorry, I'm just finishing up the link bombing. Yeah, there's just one more, but... Hello, everyone. I am Zdanabup. Do the streaming. And... Yee. That's it.
I am Failtros. I make sure things are interesting.
You.
I am Masaja.
It's here.
I swear every time you introduce yourself, I keep expecting you to just go, I am Hand.
No.
I wouldn't put it past you, though.
It's gotta be all about the surprise when he does it.
Alright. I gotta slurp the rest of my Gogurt, and that'll be good to start. But hello, everyone. I'm Ash. I'm the Gogurt slurping fool.
What kind of Gogurt?
Sour blue raspberry sour patch kids Gogurt. Because Gogurt doesn't make a Greek Gogurt variety, at least not as far as I've seen. So I have to go with the literal candy branded one to find a yogurt that is actually tangy. Cause I'm one of those fools who enjoys my yogurt tangy.
I like the wee French style yogurt.
Good, nice sip of water. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Ash. I'm the DM of this cavalcade of crazies. Last session was quite a thing. You all managed to defeat one of my boss entities of this world rather soundly, I might add.
Thank you, Brimstone.
I mean...
Brimstone do big gun to— I squirted yogurt on my keyboard!
I didn't take that out. didn't hit it with my gun. It broke the first shot I made.
Yes, that's how much power Brimstone has. It makes the DM squirt yogurt over his keyboard.
I just realized it already happened, and I just now noticed that my H key was covered.
Oof.
This is what I
Specifically
apparently
the
typed
H
while
key. I
cleaning it
wonder
off.
why.
I wiped my keyboard with a cloth, and I typed B B B B.
Hmm.
Let this be a cautionary tale for all those folks that lie in the world around. Gogurts act like a tiny cannon when you are extruding. Be mindful of your splash area. I think it happened whenever I opened it and I didn't realize it.
Possibly.
Get the yogurt out of my keyboard. I don't want the yogurt in my keyboard. Sorry about that.
Okay. It's a great way to start the new year.
With yogurt in my keyboard?
Apparently.
I'm glad everyone else is enjoying my suffering. Okay. Luckily, it didn't like go down between the keys. It was just like on top of the keys.
In the surface level.
Yeah. So I could actually just clean it off.
That's good at least.
Alrighty then. Alright, now that my yogurt mishap has been fixed. Is everyone ready to begin?
Yeah.
We're trying. Yep, ready to be crushed by giant bird mama.
Oh, we'll see.
Not be crushed.
You might be crushed.
Maybe.
Not in the fun way.
That depends on your definition of
Actually,
fun.
not one way.
Alright. Change the ambience over. Alright then. Well, last we had left off, you all had just watched as, from a distance, looking down into the center pool of this room, as Elway had stepped to the edge and over into the strange, opaque liquid rainbow that lay in the center of this place. It was at this moment you all realized that maybe you should have had some reservations about this, thinking in hindsight. As I do distinctly remember discussions remembering Charles stopping of Elway after you had given her the magical potion.
Yeah.
That was more mentioned above game, at least.
True, but if it's mentioned above game, you guys are thinking it, and I know it's at least a reservation you now hold slightly.
Me.
And for the first few moments, nothing seems to change.
Should we back up? Maybe a couple
I
more
say-
dozen miles?
I say maybe into the little tunnel, just in case.
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, might not be a bad idea.
Elsie rethinks her position again. It's like, no, I need to see this.
Alright then. As you all begin to reconsider your position, there is a change in the room around you. Distinctly, many of the strange bioluminescent mosses that have made this room have a level of light that enabled your normal vision to work suddenly begin turning ashy and gray. and just withering as the color leaves them.
Looks like she's having her fill.
It just starts towards the edge of the room and is slowly pulling inwards as the color, the light itself of this room, begins receding further and further towards the center pool. Until nothing but the light of the pool itself is what illuminates this room.
So, like, on a scale from like 1 to 10, Failsy, how bad do you think it might be when she comes out of the pool? If 10 being the mountain of reflection.
Put it this way, it probably doesn't matter. We won't be able to run fast enough.
Yay.
If we're
Okay.
not reflection bad, well then,
We are already too close.
Well,
If worse comes to worse, I love all of you. And I'm sorry.
I'm not planning on dying just yet.
Oh, you just became a magic boy again.
I have no idea what just happened to me.
Some of you are
Nothing.
far too young to be this fucking fatalistic. Goddamn.
I'm sorry, I've almost died for, like, I've been almost dead most of my life, Brimstone. This is kind of a reality I've had to sit with myself about.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah, like
I'm,
any point in my life, I could just, like, die, because I get just too sick.
I'm sure this will be fine. When have I ever steered you wrong before?
Many times. Many times.
It's terrifying how often it actually ends up working out in your favor.
It does.
With-
I also have a list.
With the exception of Fellhaven,
That worked out.
It did not.
80%.
I
it
got
did not.
kidnapped!
You got better.
Okay, 75%.
At this stage, you actually notice as the pool in the center of the room itself begins to dim.
Oh, she might be eating everything in there.
Then
That's why we grabbed the bottles when we could.
And when I say dim, it's not just that it's growing weaker in color, the colors themselves are disappearing. The strongest of the reds, the greens, the blues and the purples, it's almost like they're waning, and it takes on an appearance that actually somewhat more resembles crystal clear, vibrant water than it does this strange swirling mass of magic that you have seen these pools to be previously. And then you start seeing bubbles.
Oh, is she surfacing?
Everyone, brace yourself for something.
She's either about
And
to
the room
surface, or she's just being silly.
The room around you begins to shake. Rocks begin tumbling out of the walls, no longer held in place by the roots of these mosses that have now died due to whatever is happening within the pool. It doesn't seem like the room around you is coming down, but just the vegetation that was previously holding a lot of the loose stonework together has now died, and it is all beginning to lose cohesion.
Mm,
A large shelf of stone, probably 10 foot wide, suddenly slides off the wall and careens into the ground in this location.
I'm scooting closer to Da Vinci now, just because I'm like, I want to be around people in case I get hurt.
Oh yes, cuddle up to the person who's about to die himself.
It
Fine.
calms, and the bubbles stop. And the surface of the water suddenly explodes in a massive wave as you all see as Madame Elway breaks through the surface of the water once more, looking rather different.
Huh.
Her form fuller, strangely enough, not at all different than how you've previously seen her, but just it's almost as if she's been, oh, for lack of a better term, rehydrated.
Huh.
Does she seem to be
Wow.
aware of her surroundings at the moment?
Currently, as she does this overly unnecessary beauty shot of rising out of the water. Art, by the way, by the wonderful Fail Trolls. Our very own Fail Trolls. I kidnapped him over the holidays and made him perform art.
Oh no, there's a second one. We gotta kill the imposter.
Because who else am I going to get art of voluptuous entities? That's Fail Trolls' specialty.
Yeah, that's fair.
Madame Elway?
She shakes her head from side to side, flicking this now actually looking more like water substance off of herself. Seems to be paused, taking a second to look around herself as she pulls herself up out of the liquid and back onto the stonework.
You feeling alright over there?
Hi.
I must say that I feel wonderful.
You look great. I mean, you looked wonderful before, but you look great. And Kent is giving her a thumbs up.
Now, what do you mean? But she looks down.
Oh,
It has quite revitalized you.
She puts her arms out in front of herself and looks at the now swollen to full mass muscles that are very apparent on her arms. Oh my.
You look good.
I guess not having
Not
fun
very
with
good is
Hoards
almost
for a while.
an understatement.
She already looked very beautiful beforehand. It's not saying that she didn't look beautiful beforehand.
Jamel, is it bad that I have the most uncomfortable boner right now?
No, I understand.
How are you feeling though?
Bad.
Is your stomach better? Can you remember things
With-
from yesterday?
Without any hesitation, she just opens the front of her robe and looks down.
Kenta covers her eyes a little bit.
There is distinctly a large scar over her stomach now, but it is completely resealed.
Yay!
Well, looks like you're not looking to die on us anytime soon.
Well, the fates will be told how that will play out, but for the moment, I would seem to be not dying.
You able to make it back up here?
She takes a step forward. You all watch as she just seemingly sinks into the ground and reappears just a few steps behind Keta.
To kind of turn around and just kind of throw her arms around LA.
Which, by the way, is the first time you guys have ever actually seen her do whatever it is she does whenever she disappears.
Yeah, usually it's just
she just looked like she just melted into a puddle of shadows and vanished.
So that's how you do that. I've got to keep my guard up now. Great.
Nah,
I
she's still
normally
gonna
choose
catch you
to be
off guard.
much more subtle about it, but why
It's
not?
so good to hug you.
It's always been good to hug you as well. Though I will say, you can't quite get as close to me anymore. That's going to
Give it
take some
time.
getting used to.
Give it time. I'm used to it. Don't worry.
Nah, I guess it depends on your definition of close.
You're not wrong.
I'm glad
I
you're
must
okay.
say,
And because I'm also going to show off this piece of artwork on stream, as she
Uh,
does a bit of a pose.
should I close the first one and then you can open the next one?
Uh,
Or scoot it over?
yeah. Either way you want to do it. They're big enough.
I'll scooch it over for right now.
They're sized according to how Roll20 does its image sizing, to where they can both fit on the screen at the same time, just not well zoomed in,
Yee.
No.
obviously. But she strikes a bit of a pose, while just giving you all just a smirk. I think I look as good as I did about 1,000 years ago, if I have to say.
I mean, you've always looked very pretty to me.
thank you.
Oh, and Ketcha kind of like turns Elway's arm a little bit, kind of looks at the markings. You can see these a lot better.
Yes, my robe is fitting more tightly than I expected it to. I might need to let it out.
I
This is
can let you
awkward.
borrow one of my bigger ones until we can get you to a tailor.
Keta, my darling, your robes would be very small on me.
She might need to borrow, like, one of Lee's if he's got more than one. It's more equivalent size.
But
Alright, all of you come here. I want to give you all a big hug.
She just sort of gestures for you all to come in for a big group hug.
you know what? Why not? Travinci will do it.
Yee.
Travinci immediately passes out from one hug damage.
Yep,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
squeezes
yeah.
just a little too hard, and the little spirit just flies out of his mouth.
She like flexes as she does it, and like it just pops Travinci's back in just the wrong way. Just
No, it's just like I died against boobs. Worth it.
yeah, her hugs are dealing like 70 damage. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but she brings you all in for a hug.
I never thought I'd get to see my new babies. Growing up so fast.
Who are you calling a baby?
Travinci.
You.
All of you are babies. At least for
Yeah,
me.
all of you are a
Always
lot
baby.
younger than me, and
Even you, Brimstone.
I'm not. Yeah, I was getting there.
I will always be baby, no matter what.
Yes,
Correct.
I have no complaints about this whatsoever.
I'm just glad that one of our worries are over, and with that, you're back in. Seems your prime, Elway. Or close to it.
And she looks down at herself again as the hug breaks away.
Oh, you must have been a heartbreaker.
Not quite my prime, I'd say.
And she specifically looks at one of the lines on her arm and draws her fingers over one of them. And you watch as specifically the line on her left arm glows brightly as she does so. And just seems to create a floating image above it. It looks like it's a flat plane that looks like a map almost.
It's interesting.
What is that?
I am checking on something that I haven't looked into in quite some time. Hadn't even thought to.
Is it a super secret thing?
No, it's just my old home.
Your home
You
wasn't.
can check on it from all the way here.
Magical sensors, I've not activated them in quite some time.
Yeah, and what you see if you all like look at it, because it's kind of faced at a weird angle to see it unless you're looking at it from behind her.
Mm-hmm.
But she's looking at a magically created, like, topographical map of Kingfisher Isle. The best way to describe it is like if you're in a video game and you use a sonar to create a map, like that level of detail.
Oh, wow.
You miss it?
A touch. I miss my birds.
I would miss the birds too. They were very pretty and they seemed like good company.
They were good enough company as a bunch of feather brains can be.
Careful, Charles might hear you say that.
Charles is a good boy. He's special.
He's well aware of how much of a fool he can be. He's a good boy.
He did at least help you earlier.
I'm aware.
Do you eat well? That feels weird to say.
Yes, I did. Hmm. I must apologize to all of you.
Is something the matter?
Well, I haven't been myself these last few weeks.
You kind of had a hole in your stomach.
Yeah, that kind of tends to change your whole.
And
That's,
you also thought you were going to die, so.
Well,
And she looks very poignantly at you, Dravinche.
I knew I was going to die. But something decided to change that. And I feel like I might be partially at fault for what ended up happening. Particularly to your father, Morgan.
I mean,
He wouldn't have been there if I hadn't kicked him out of the house all those years ago, but... He also says if I hadn't done that, he wouldn't have been able to save 4 people from getting hit, so it is what it is.
there's also the tangential threat of Game Master's interference led to this whole sequence of events.
We honestly don't know.
Wouldn't it have started with Arya punching, you know?
Arya didn't
And-
punch Elway. She stabbed her.
I punched her.
Sorry, I was a little blurry for me.
I understand. I must say that felt quite good.
There's a number of its, ands, or buts in conjunction regarding that event. Especially with what we were told leading up to it.
Game Master.
Well, about we saved the talk for back up in the car.
Shouldn't be his name anymore.
What?
I'll tell you when we get back to the cart. Feels a bit
Okay.
dreary down here.
I can make
Yes,
tea.
but how about we go back to the cot and be able to get a bit of rest?
Is
Yeah,
everybody okay with tea? I know Lee's probably making food by now.
Probably.
I think after everything that just happened today, any kind of refreshment would be welcome.
Agreed.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel rather refreshed.
Oh, you just ate. We still need to have ours.
Very fair.
Can I still walk with you, Madame Elway?
Naturally.
I'm just gonna offer up her arm to her.
She'll take it.
In the other hand,
Alright.
she's just still gently holding the robes, but she seems in better spirits.
As walking out, Morgan's trying to get Jervinche to take a potion from her.
I'm fine. I'm fine. But
Tell you.
as they walk, Rinche just slows down, almost trips over his feet a few times.
Dravinche, don't make me carry you with my tail.
I'm fine. He just pats himself up on the chest. Not sure if this will work, but it worked in the visions he had with Desus. It's going to trigger the Azamar healing hands.
Yeah, you pat yourself on the chest, knowing that this should work. You had a lot of intrinsic knowledge basically hammered into your mind in that few moments.
The gateways were open.
What felt like quite some time to you. So you touch your chest and watch as this sort of divine golden light filters from your palm into your chest. And you feel that energy swell in yourself as some of your wounds close themselves.
Oh, like I said, I'm fine. I can keep up this walk.
Morgan was watching and her mouth is hanging open.
Just in case, because I don't trust this walk in this area. I know we should, but I don't trust it at all. Can I pump some of my healing light over to Dravinche?
Yeah, as he's doing that to himself, you could also put some healing light into him. Just
Yeah,
makes it seem more flashy.
This tail will flick, and she'll dump 4 healing lights into him.
Heal him! Heal him!
You get 10 additional back as just kind of, I think they're green motes of light just kind of just into you.
It's like, it's not supposed to do that much. Weird.
Ah, yes, invoke the primal scream.
I wonder what Lee made. I'm hungry.
Alright then. The walk up to the cart goes by uneventfully. Though as you all are nearing the top portion of the cavern, you do distinctly hear a sudden raucous sound of stone against stone further inside.
What? To turn around to see or look ahead to see?
It's as you all are like leaving through the weird false bottom in that hut.
Right.
And you just hear it behind you all quite a bit of ways back.
Just Da Vinci looks to the hole that they all initially jumped down.
I mean, that's still a further thing than dark vision can see. Which, by the way, Da Vinci, it's weird. You could see in the darkness now.
Yeah, he hasn't commented on it yet, but
That also wasn't one even explained to you because it's just something your body can do now. Just blink, 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 blink. Why can I see?
Can we see what's making the noise?
I mean, you just heard stone on stone as if a collapse just happened.
yeah,
Ah,
it's just
that's
that's what I figured. That's why I looked over to the hole to see if it's a case of like the hole itself collapsed in, or or it's just like it collapsed down below there, and we don't see any sign of it from the top.
It seems like it might have collapsed down below there because you don't currently see what happened.
Well, seems like this. No one, cult or otherwise, will be using this wellspring again.
I just poked myself in the face. No,
Don't do that.
I'm not doing to. I did it on accident.
Do you think many other adventurers would have come through here in the past and been eaten by whatever the fuck that was?
Oh, probably.
Fucking probably, yeah.
There's a significant chance, and also we don't even know how many of the cult members themselves would have been eaten by it.
Do you think you think that thing would have ordered its treasures from said murdered people?
Potentially.
Well,
Well, if there was, we
maybe.
can't find it now.
Yeah, you can still look around a little bit if you want to.
If you want to look around and see what you can find, go right on ahead. I need to take a seat.
I was just going out hunting.
Elsie, if you find anything interesting, can you include me in on it? I'm just making sure the adventure doesn't pass out while going to the cart.
I'm fine. You can go with her.
At this point, your Vinci looks pretty good.
Uh,
Like, all of
Yeah,
the
he's no
immediate
longer.
signs of imposing death are gone. He's
He's
still
no longer at one.
bruised pretty badly.
Yeah, the bite wounds have stopped bleeding. He still looks pale in the face, but he's not going to collapse immediately.
He is not, as they say in the business, on death's door.
I'll be right back, Madam Ellie. I'm gonna go with Failsy, make sure she doesn't get in danger.
Very well.
Wait for me, Failsy!
I'm wanting to see what Lee made, and I want to let my dad know that we made it out of there alive.
Alright, so those who are staying behind to perform investigations, you may either individually roll investigations or assist each other.
It fails, yeah. Is your investigation better?
Failsy has some
I think she's got a 6.
6.
Yeah.
I have a 4. I'll end up just assisting you.
So investigate. 22.
It's a good thing that she assisted.
That's
Yeah,
very
no
smart.
kidding.
What are you talking about? She's very smart.
Failsy's treasure senses are tingling.
The senses are
This-
tingling. Ket is just the one leading her, like the really weird like metal detector.
You're both doing metal detector duty. Give me one
Alright.
second while I pull something up.
Why am I picturing Failsy holding Keta's feet while Keta wheelbarrows going beep, beep, beep?
Keta's tail is wrapped around Failsy's like wrist, so she has like some leverage of not like falling. Failsy, I have a question. Do you know mending?
Sorry, what was that?
You know mending?
Quickly look at spells. Yes.
The mending?
Yep.
Alright, could you do something for me? Later.
Sure.
Thank you. Pat with the tail spade.
Do, 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 do. Sorry, I'm making sure this is rolling correctly because my tables for this are always wanting to act weird.
The girls get to have bonding time.
Alrighty then.
Accidentally rolled. Oh dear, you died because you drowned in the amount of gold I just rolled.
No. But what ends up happening is that you all look around for quite some while, not really finding anything on the surface level.
Mhm.
You poke your head back down to that hole, go back down a little bit, knowing it's a bit of a trek, and eventually find the end of it, where you can't go any further due to the fact that it's not completely caved in down there, but to actually get back down to the wellspring, it would have to be cleared. Again, it looks like all the loose rubble that was being held up by previous plant life has just fallen in now.
Mm-hmm.
So the cave itself has not completely collapsed, but it's just now filled with loose stonework. I'm going to
Probably
move
not
everyone
the
back out
safe.
to the big map.
Probably not the safest to go in there either.
So you come back up, having not really found anything down there. It's kind of at this moment that you do notice that weird big piece of stonework that was in the middle of that clearing.
Has it moved?
You're not sure how none of you noticed this before, but it's now on a flat plane and slightly floating.
What? Okay.
Well,
How far off the ground is it floating?
Like a few centimeters.
Alright.
There's a reason why you didn't just at a glance notice it was floating.
Do you think that the treasure's underneath the disc?
maybe. Can I push it?
I'm gonna cast
Yeah,
light so we can get a better look at it.
It's in daylight right now, so
Oh.
it's perfectly visible. Yeah, this is outside, in the weird Stonehenge-looking area.
We're also looking underneath a big slab of stone that's gonna cast shadow.
But yeah, as Failsy as you touch it, it just sort of moves to the side with no resistance.
So we sucked up all of the wild magic, and now magic is happening.
I
Okay.
can only assume that.
And underneath it, embedded in the dirt, is a stone box.
Oh, fancy.
Someone
Probably
really-
about 3 foot wide, or probably about a meter by a meter wide and long. It vaguely resembles a burial box.
You should be. So do you think there's a dead body in here?
Well, I'm gonna go grave robbing anyway.
Right, you're better at it than I am.
Wait, sorry. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to do some archaeology. Yes, that's the proper way to say this.
That's the way that Jamel wanted me to describe it to others.
Well, you're still better at it than I am, so I'll stand guard. I'll look tough.
Out comes her crowbar.
Alright, you pull out your crowbar, and go ahead and give me a crowbar usage. Gordon Freeman this bitch.
Where is my crowbar?
Nice fancy magic crowbar.
There it is.
21, because of how this works.
That shouldn't that be higher? A higher mod?
No.
It gives her a strength. It gives her a strength of 19.
She has no
Okay.
proficiency in athletics.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I have no
Yeah.
athletics, so all of this is all crowbar.
Yeah, it's just raw strength and advantage.
Yeah.
Fair.
As the spirit of the Oni trapped within the crowbar is helping. Is this a problem? Probably. Alrighty then. You wedge your crowbar up underneath the lip of this stone box and pry it open. And you can't like get it fully off, but it slides off to the side after you've cracked the seal on it enough for you to actually be able to look inside. And inside you see quite a few items.
Ooh.
To place things in perspective, everything inside this box is covered in cobwebs and dust. Like it has not been opened in quite some time.
Oh, that's really old.
Like even breaking the seal on it it lets out the of dust into the air around it. And Failsy, that is the smell of good old dust. It is a smell you're very familiar with.
This is the smell of archaeology.
Ah, good old archaeology dust.
It's not people dust.
Oh, it's definitely people dust.
Alright. And I would like for you and Keta, because
I'm here.
this is you are there and you helped with this roll. I would like for both of you to roll a d8.
1d8.
Yeah, both of you roll a d8 and roll a d6.
My D8 is 4, and my D6 is 1.
4, 8, 1, 2. Okay. Opening this. So, Failsy, the first thing you see upon opening and cracking this seal and looking inside, and eventually Jamel comes forward and actually pulls the lid further off so you can actually reach your arm inside of it.
Thank you, Jamel.
Not the problem. The first thing that you'll see is several bottles. You can see like the cork stopper on the top of the bottles at first, but the layer of cobwebs over top of them prevents you from seeing the contents right away. Sorry. But reaching and peeling the cobwebs back, you do see several of them to be bottles containing a red liquid. You immediately recognize them as some form of healing potion. And they do look rather fancy. Despite the clear age they have, the bottles themselves are ornate in design with a very decorative filigree that some of it has begun to chip off the glasswork due to age and exposure to elements likely.
Nice.
But they look very nice. And the deep red color of the liquid inside and the level of clarity would actually potentially let you be able to identify them without even having to cast a spell if you can roll well enough on an Arcana check.
Okay, let's have a look-see.
I give him guidance. I believe I have guidance. I have guidance. Can I give Failsy guidance?
This is more based on Filzy's internal knowledge while swirling them around, but sure. So yeah, make an Arcana check and with guidance.
Yeah, D4.
Okay, so I'll throw the d4 on top of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
That pushed you over the threshold.
Win-win.
You... 21. 21. You didn't recognize them at first due to the fact that you have not seen these terribly often before. But this is something you have seen Jamel have previously. You have found 2 of these. They are potions of supreme healing. (10d4 plus 20 healing potions.
Damn.
Remember, this was against a CR 13 creature.
Fair.
Yeah.
So this is not loot designed for your current level, size, and DM.
And that's when the other thing we get is like a +2 maul.
That was. So, how many D?
You have
10d4.
10d4 plus 20,
20.
and you have 2 of those.
Yeah.
So it will at least give you 30 health back.
With this party, that's like almost to full.
Yeah.
We're also level 7.
We're too low level, a low of a level
For
for this
some of us.
area.
Yes, this is that occasion where you're playing a video game and you get a health potion where you're just like, well, I'm never going to use this. Or I'm not going to use this for like the next 10 levels. This is too strong. It is literally going to be a full heal until I've gone up quite a few levels.
This is too valuable to use until it becomes normal.
Yes, too good to use syndrome. There it is.
This is the final boss. Use a health potion, but I might need them later. You have 900 of them, but I might need it later.
need them.
Use that ultimate attack item, but I might need it later. It's the final boss, but there might be a secret boss that I'll need them against.
It's like, you're fucking God.
But I don't want to use the power because I might need it.
Let's be honest. People that keep their health items like that typically end up over leveled anyways.
Yeah.
No.
Hi.
So, what other potions did we get?
That's what I'm seeing right now. I might actually call for other people to make rolls as well.
And is actively trying to nerf them as he's going.
I'm not. This is just the fact that rolling on this level of horde tables,
We
there's a
punched
lot of
far
items
above
in
our,
my list.
We punched far above our weight class.
Yeah.
A lot of it was down to the fact of just fuck you. I want you to die.
I forgot the.
Uh-oh.
You forgot.
I
pizza.
forgot I put something on a table because of a joke, and it rolled.
Oh no.
Nice.
I'll cover that later.
Oh no.
It's like, what has Failsy dragged out of the hole this time?
Listen,
Okay,
if
so
Failsy
we
found-
and Kent are having like a field day just pulling things out of his box.
Failsy found a miniature cloning vat.
Okay,
You can clone-
so
You can clone people of halfling size or smaller, or yourself, but you're only the height of a halfling.
So a gnome.
And
okay.
and why wouldn't Failsy want to mini her?
I mean,
This is how you get short stack Failsy.
Lalafell Failsy.
oh no. Okay,
Oh, no.
so getting back into it, you found
Yeah.
2 of the supreme healing potions.
Oh.
The other vials you find in there of potions, and you find 4 of these. They appear to be in a small leather sachet. And these are like thin, almost test tube-esque vials. And at first, you don't think anything is inside them. But as you move the vial around, you can clearly feel something inside of it. You just can't see what's inside of it. Like, you feel a liquid slosh on the inside, but you do not visibly see anything.
Would it be weird if those are potions of invisibility, but you can't see the liquid?
Failsy racking her brain on what this might be. This is another Arcana check.
Yeah. This one's not as hard. Yeah, because the threshold for recognizing the Supreme Healing Potion was 20, due to its rarity.
I'm assuming I don't have guidance anymore.
I didn't call it beforehand, so no.
You gotta call beforehand. I mean, It's an invisible potion. You don't know if it's an invisibility potion, but it's definitely an invisible potion. You'll have to identify that one, just to be sure.
Okay,
But
cool.
the little
It's a-
pouch in there has 4 of them. It's almost like a bandolier style leather strap you would either put on like the arm of a piece of armor or around like the leg.
At the sitting with like a little notebook, kind of just taking inventory, so she could remind Failsy later.
I'll need to sit down and cast Identify on that one later.
When you do, make sure to tell me so I can put it down in the notes. So we have. I've been keeping track of the different items.
All right. The next thing you pull out, you see several rolls of paper.
Is it fancy paper?
They appear to be rolled up scrolls.
Ooh.
The first one in particular that catches your eye is a scroll that the paper itself is of a deep blue, deep blue color with a black piece of leather cordage wrapped around it. And bizarrely enough, you're looking at it and it looks like it's shimmering, like it has glitter on it. The paper itself embedded with like this very sparkly glitter.
Looks like something I'd make.
Is this one of your ancestors? Is this their arts and crafts?
I don't know.
And when you pick it up, the scroll itself feels weirdly heavy.
Jeebus.
Is it possible to unscroll a scroll without like using it up?
In order to use a scroll, you have to very specifically invoke the magic contained within.
Uh-huh.
So
I was
you
gonna
can
say, could
open
we-
it and read it as long as you read the language of whoever wrote it.
I mean, I can read all languages.
Look at you, fancy pants.
If
'cause
Frozen
I have
burns
Eyes
the
of the
spell slot,
Runekeeper.
She can read it as well, but she's going to try and read it without burning spells first.
I can read all writing.
Good for you.
Yeah. So what
Fails is the one
is
looking
it?
at it, though. So,
with her?
Failsy, what languages do you read?
All the dead ones.
Alright, we'll pop it into the chat, please.
Sorry.
I need to know specifically if you can read Celestial.
Yes.
Yes, she can.
Okay.
Infernal, Celestial, Abyss, Draconic, and
I think you both could read Celestial anyways.
Yeah, like I can naturally do that.
The only ones of us that can't do that as of right now are myself and Morrigan.
Oh, you put them all in separate ones.
And if I could look over
All right,
Failsy's
so-
shoulder while she's reading it, so you know.
Yeah. You roll. It doesn't. It's not like the scroll itself has like a header at the front of it that just says spell name. You have to like read through the text of the spell, and it is wordy.
Oof.
It's actually several pieces of vellum scroll, like wrapped on top of each other.
Uh-huh.
Like probably, you'd say 7 pieces of paper.
Mhm.
You get the feeling that reading it, if you were to try to invoke the spell, would take quite some time. And as you begin reading through it... Ow!
I also have a
My
weird
chair
question
pinched
then.
my thigh! As you begin reading through it to try to figure out what it is, you see a lot of formula specifically pertaining to the connections of elsewhere with the material world. And you can surmise, due to the fact you can both read this language, that this is a scroll of resurrection.
Oh shit. I have a weird question for you, Ash.
I have a potentially weird answer.
Is this an old Celestial?
It does appear to be written in an old tongue, but not unrecognizable.
Alright, Keta's gonna look at Failsy and be like, this is really rare to find. This kind of magic is very, from my understanding, only very powerful people can do this.
Yeah, I think
I
there's
also
like
like for you guys to make a religion check as you're making this discussion.
there's like one back at the temple, and that is the
She's
in
freaking
case
out over
mom
the fact that she
dies.
has it.
It's like the in case mom dies, break glass kind of thing.
I think my mom can do it, but it's very rare that she does it.
Religion. Where is that? There it is. Fucking nat one.
We're both mentally freaking out that we're seeing this right now.
A double nat one.
Is strong magic. Maybe
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
religious connotation because it is written in Celestial, but
Yeah,
none
yeah.
recognized right now.
Maybe we need to give it to Grainum and see what he says about it.
Keta is in awe because, it's written in Celestial. Failsy is in awe because that's powerful fucking magic.
Can I see it, Failsy? Are you going to allow me to touch it, Failsy?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Are you going to allow me to touch the scroll? Like, take it from your hand so I can look at it.
Yep, Felzy will hand it over and peruse the next one.
Right, I have some ideas later after we get through everything. Oh my god, I can't believe we're actually holding this.
Alright. There are more spell scrolls in there.
Alright.
There is another fairly fancy looking one.
Ooh, is it
Though
Bluetooth?
this one is on a piece. And by the way, the actual writing for the scroll that you've picked up currently, the ink is white.
I have
Which
some
is
thoughts.
something that makes it look weird. Like, you're not. In this world setting, you're not used to seeing white ink.
I assume it's between, like, maybe purplish, like, made from berries and, like, black. Maybe?
No, it's like stark, like bleach white.
Look, I'm talking about, like, normal ink.
Normal ink is black. Like, it's made from a. I mean, if you want to get into logistics, what like standard like writing ink is made from in this world, it's made from a very specific type of crushed up mollusk that is found all over the coastlines of this world. That shell turns into like this inky black goo whenever crunched.
So just like purple dye.
Yeah.
Alright.
If you were to actually like spread it out very thin, it is actually a very dark green color, but it looks black.
Scroll.
All right. This scroll. I mean, it doesn't matter what language it is. You guys can read it. That's annoying, but yeah. It takes out the fanciness.
It's not like Brimstone finding a scroll.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't really cast magic.
Fair enough. You open up this one, looking through it, and this one seems to have like a lot of formulas inside of it about the universal pool of the world. As you have found a scroll of reverse gravity.
Okay.
And
what language is it written in?
Yeah, you don't know. You can just read it.
Alright.
No, fair.
There is no longer a language when you look at paper. It just makes sense.
And Failsy read it.
That's
the
more distinctive answer then.
Yeah. Is it an abyssal or draconic?
This would be written in a old version of Infernal, actually.
Oh, okay. So
but Failsy is a scholar, so Failsy would be able to read it. You'd all be able to read it, but some of the words just wouldn't make sense. Failsy, they all make sense because Failsy's a scholar.
All right, so sorry, I'm actually just trying to keep note of what they're like written in, so I like have them for later.
It is technically written in Infernal. Anyone who can read Infernal could use it,
It's just
but for the
making
sake
sense
of if
all
someone
of
were
it.
to actually, if one of you guys were actually a magical practitioner and wanting to copy it, right now only Failsy could make an actual copy of it.
Because the rest of us can't transliterate it perfectly enough to be able to actually reproduce the spell reliably.
Yeah.
I was also thinking that like the kind of dating of it would be important too. Figure out how old these things are, considering we now have an old infernal, an old celestial, and God knows what else we're gonna find.
All right then. The next and last scroll you find, it's a scroll, but it's weird because it's wrapped around something.
It's wrapped around.
A bit bulky.
Failsy, as you pull out this last piece of paper you see, because obviously you're Failsy, your mind is drawn to the paper. It's wrapped around as you unroll it. A weirdly fancy cup? It's just it's a silver what is the name for these? Like the bowls that you put fruit in. That are like, it's a bowl, but it's got like a little like foot underneath it. I always forget what they're called.
Goblet.
I know what you're talking about. My
It's
mind's
shaped
going
like
to
a goblet, but
trifle
it's
dick.
very it's a goblet, but really wide on the top. Rather than, it's not meant to drink liquids out of.
Chalice.
No,
I'll go with chalice.
Yeah.
Just go with that for now. But yeah, it's like a chalice, but it is made of silver, and it seems to have rubies and emeralds embedded in the side of it. Like engraved and inlaid into its side.
Weird.
Fancy.
And Failsy, can you read Sylvan?
I cannot at the moment.
Again.
Keta can. I mean, she can read all language.
Alright,
But
so
I also know
If I've done
Sylvan.
a spell, so I can.
yes, but right now, and this is a thing that is about Eyes of the Runekeeper, there is no language in writing. It all looks like one language to you.
That's fair.
You can literally not recognize a language anymore because it all just makes sense. It's like constantly having comprehend languages casted on you.
Speaking of which,
So basically, it would all look like it's written in Infernal to you because that is your original language you were able to speak.
Can it be common?
For Keta, no. She was first taught Infernal.
Alright.
as
You were taught Infernal, then Common, then Celestial. I believe was the order of your like home languages.
Not so much a reaction, just a habit. The moment Failsy comes across a language she can't read, she'll cast comprehend languages because this language will not beat her.
Fair enough. Looking it over, the both of you read through it a little bit. Seems to be detailing a summoning ritual of some form, but not for a creature. It's detailing the summoning ritual for a meal, as you have found a scroll of Hero's Feast.
Huh. And we can only assume that the bowl is a part of the spell.
Yeah, it seems with the other two spells, the magical reagents used to cast them are actually embedded into the paper, but it's hard to embed a bowl into paper.
Failsy.
So it's Hero's Feast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Hero's Feast.
For the sake of note keeping, it is written in Sylvan.
Yeah. She kind of like cocks her head at it and just kind of like turns, like looks at the bowl and just. I mean, it'd be useful because I mean the additional magical qualities of the food, but I mean, what if we show Lee this spell? Think he'd be insulted?
I'm having trouble hearing her. 1 second.
Am I speaking too softly?
No, it's
No,
just
remember, Phil
Discord.
doesn't wear
reset
headphones.
yourself.
Ah.
Yeah, Discord reset you.
Ah,
There we go. What was that?
I. Do you think Lee would be insulted if we showed him the spell?
I don't. Well, we don't have to show him. It'd be something we'd use when Lee's not around and are hungry. So
I
I guess
mean,
we'll never
it's-
use this again.
Honestly, it seems like something we might have to use before we face somebody important.
Oh wait, there was one more spell. I forgot about that.
I'm actually getting the sense that maybe this guy, whoever's in the box, was meant to be resurrected and then have a feast after escaping something after a long time.
I will say this: there are no remains in this box.
Oh,
This
okay.
looks like a place where a bunch of things were collected and just dropped in it. Like you can even see as you're pushing through things, there are like layers of different like dust sediments.
Yeah,
between
it just
them.
has the rough dimensions of it. Like,
I have a feeling we were supposed to maybe find this before we went down.
Well, you weren't able to move the stone before you went down.
I tried.
Currently stands. It's floating about 3 centimeters off the ground, off to the side.
eh. Well, it's also interesting that we have a spell written in Celestial and a spell written in Infernal, and I don't really exactly know what that spell's written in.
Well, Mr. Beastie downstairs probably killed a lot of people over the however long it's been in there.
It's, I don't know, I find it interesting at least.
And I forgot there's one more spell scroll in here.
Ooh.
Spell scroll.
This one is a old piece of like an old piece of vellum paper. It looks ancient compared to the other old looking scrolls in here. But distinctly it has curling blackened edges of the paper as if it was burnt.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Didn't think you could burn these.
With enough effort, most likely.
Magic tends to keep things very sturdy.
And the most notable thing you can see immediately is as you're unrolling it, not the part that is written, but on the back of the paper, there is a symbol drawn on it in what looks to be old dried blood.
Oh! Okay.
Keta, terrified, failsy, real shit.
Can we make out what the spell is?
This one is going to require an Arcana check because it is too high level.
I'm a smack Failsy with a guidance. If I can help, I will, but I probably can't.
It is written in an ancient form of Infernal.
Okay.
And there is something about it that feels almost familiar to something you all have seen before. But go ahead and make that Arcana check, Failsy.
You have guidance, and I don't know if I can help you or not.
Not with an Arcana check, unless you're trained in Arcana.
Nope. So I'm just gonna smack with the guidance.
Okay, so Arcana.
Mm.
So 22 plus some
Plus a
guidance.
D4.
23.
I'll give this to you then. I give this to you because that failsy natural 20 is also on the other side. You don't get it, but this is an ancient form of infernal. To the point where actually reading this is making you all, and this is kind of weird even for you, Failsy, it's making you uncomfortable. Like, just to even read this script is making your skin feel weird.
Oh, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's making Failsy feel weird, and Kenta's probably. Onyx looks is probably like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, it's definitely set in
Run away!
Omnilux a little
away!
bit on the flight mode, but not to the runaway sense, but just like the danger, Will Robinson.
I'm trying to
Red
research.
alert! Red alert!
What is?
But you rolled high enough for this, so the details of the magic within this, the basic formulas you can see are actually not terribly dissimilar to the reverse gravity scroll you found. It seems to deal with the manipulation of natural forces, but it goes into far greater detail. And rather than manipulating to simply reverse the flow, this seems to be very specifically magnifying the flow of gravity into a centralized point.
Oh no!
This is a scroll of Dark Star.
I don't know what that is, but that sounds awesome.
This spell creates a sphere centered on a point you choose within range. The sphere can have a radius of up to 40 feet. The area within this sphere is filled with magical darkness and crushing gravitational force. For the duration, which is concentration up to 1 minute. The spell's area is difficult terrain. A creature with dark vision can't see through the magical darkness, and non-magical light cannot illuminate it. No sound can be created or pass through the area. Any creature or object entirely inside the sphere is immune to thunder damage, and creatures are deafened while entirely inside it. Casting a spell that includes a verbal component is impossible here. Any creatures that enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn, or starts its turn there, must make a Constitution saving throw. I'll tell you the DC for this later because it's based on the creator of this. The creature takes 8d10 force damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. A creature reduced to 0 hit points by this damage is disintegrated. As you are literally rended apart by gravitational force on a molecular level. The only thing that will survive this is magical items.
So, do we? Okay.
Why? What about it feels familiar?
The handwriting looks familiar, but you can't place it.
Is it still just like even looking at it makes me uncomfy?
Yeah. Especially you. Failsy less so, but it's still weird that it does.
Though Kenta is not for sure certain, she has an idea, and she's immediately looking at Failsy like, roll it up now.
There is also a piece of onyx gemstone that was wrapped inside of the scroll.
No, that thing is not good.
I think this is my new oh shit button.
Failsy, do you not feel what that...
Oh yeah, I definitely feel it.
God, that makes my skin crawl. It just starts like itching at her arm.
Failsy casts this evil into a different dimension by sticking in her pocket.
In the pocket.
Alright,
Yeah.
You might want to tell Brimstone.
Alright, that was all of the spell scrolls.
Is there anything else, or can we just put the thing back?
Oh no, there's items.
Okay.
Listen, this was a legendary creature's horde.
Yeah, there are items, but
All right then. By the way, isn't Brimstone still on the scene? He didn't say he went back into the cart.
I don't know.
Maybe he's just wandering around.
I'm just curious who all is being privy to what they're digging out of this.
I mean, it sounded like Elway had something important to say, and
Yeah, but
he's
that's-
hoping.
That's waiting
He's
for you all
hoping.
to get back in the cart, though.
Okay, that's fair. In that case, he's probably far enough away that he doesn't really know what's happening, but nothing's exploded yet, so he's not 100% paying attention to what's going on. Like, he's looking that way to make sure nothing explodes, but he's not paying enough attention to note much of anything.
All right then. By the way, for the people in the cart, Lee has actually made up, because you guys were down there for a while. He decided to make something fancy.
Oh.
He has made up these really nice steaks with a peanut sauce to go on top of them. You're not entirely sure exactly what type of meat it is, because it's very tender and doesn't explicitly taste like beef. It's like tender and juicy. It's like beef plus. Is the only way I can think to describe it. But it has like this very slightly sweet but very salty peanut sauce that is also on top of it.
Before we get into items, can we take a quick bio break?
Yeah. I kind of forgot about the fact that this was going
There's
to
a lot
take
of
a while
stuff in
because
here.
there's a lot of items.
I mean,
Listen,
yeah.
And Keta and Fails here are dirty magic item gremlins.
Give me more.
Alright, I need to go pee.
I just had a little bit of a heart attack.
Why? Because we got the Heroes Feast thing, or
No, because a mouse just like looked at me from underneath my desk.
oh,
It did that thing where it's just like I wasn't expecting something to move down by my foot, so it made me be like, no.
fair. All right, bio break.
I didn't know if it was going to bite my toe or not.
Hey, Brimstone, we found a spell written by your dad. What's it do? Crushes people under their own weight until they die. Yeah, that checks out.
It performs crush, death, explosion, murder.
I guess I'm not surprised. I'm just wondering why it's here.
And it's
Whatever.
old.
He sold it to someone, and they didn't use it.
Mm.
Who knows? I will say that scroll was buried particularly deep in the box. I was just giving you all of the classes of items at the same time.
That's fair.
Fair.
Oh yeah, I should probably go ahead and give you the DC for that scroll.
Is that a
It's like
can I make that
22.
spell, or can I find it?
What?
Can I find that spell online when I try?
Yeah.
It's
From
Wild-
Explorer's
the
Guide to
Wild
Wildmount.
Okay.
It is a level 8 spell.
Yeah, it's level 8. I think it's evocation or conjuration.
Evocation.
Most of the genomancy spells are. At least the ones that deal damage.
Yeah. Usually comes down to if a spell deals damage, it isn't directly summoning something, it's evocation.
Or necromancer.
Yeah.
Well, I guess necromancy is generally, necrotic damage, so. And
Or
yeah,
healing.
especially when it's force.
Yeah.
Evocation is more healing. Necromancy is more
There are some healing spells that are necromancy. I think people have a misconception of what evocation means whenever thinking about magic in D&D.
There's some weird delineations there.
It's just because evocation is not like damaging magic. Evocation is when you have to call forth natural elements to cause an effect to happen. You have to invoke magic. So it's a huge umbrella term for a lot of different magics.
Yep, and they lumped healing into it when in past editions it was actually necromancy because it's manipulation of bodily forces.
To be fair, there are quite a few healing spells that are still necromancy.
Are there?
Like was previously mentioned, most of the reviving spells are necromancy. No, they're technically healing.
The only one I'm not sure on there is reincarnate. That might be like transmutation.
I think reincarnate is transmutation.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I think all the standard revive you in your own body spells are.
Also, in terms of
Necromancy.
Rosie learning comeuppance, this is not helping.
To be fair, Failsy didn't really risk much by opening this. We all kind of risked. Well, that's not true. It's still related to the Jabberwock.
I mean, the whole
thing with this place, yeah.
was like, well, it resulted in all of this cool stuff.
I mean,
Failsy also did get subjected to a week-long stint of torment and torture. Not being allowed to sleep and constantly having to run in fear for her life.
Yeah, but look at all this nice stuff.
Okay, so Failsy is just a master of the silver lining.
So much
Yep.
Ella, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm eating bean dip.
I know, Kata is not the smartest girl in the world, but she knows when she feels something weird.
I love how bean dip, as far as insert company here, is concerned, is literally just a 10 of refried beans that they tell you is just supposed to be used for chips.
Correct.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to complain. It tastes really good. I love beans.
Honestly, I find it very interesting the fact that, Kata's first language being Infernal, and then she had to learn Common. So, for like a good first few years of her life, she probably spoke Infernal to people around her. They had no idea what she was saying. She was raised around people who spoke Common.
I mean,
Or have many incidences where it's like, could you pass me the what's the word?
It's just
The
what?
salt.
Yeah, the what? Oh, she wants sugar.
Yes, of course, the salt.
Yeah. Oh, she just wants sugar. She's eating. She's eating cookies. Yeah, we know.
She calls them sprinks. We don't know what it means either.
Just Keta, just horrid growling. It's just no, Keta. It's not cuddle time yet. But
the idea that Celestial's done the afterthought of the language of just like
Vivian was
we
more
know that-
concerned with not dying than teaching her Celestial.
Yeah. I think it's more the fact that they had to
knew
wait.
it too.
Well, yeah, but his first language was Infernal.
Yeah.
So he probably felt more comfortable teaching that.
Yeah, Infernal, and then Common, and then Celestial when he had Vivian to back him up. Insofar as I'm teaching her how to say the right things, right? And I'm not just teaching her, to swear.
She got
Yes.
probably taught Common by the orcs. Given she was most of her life spent around the orcs, so probably learned Common from them.
She really learned Celestial and Common at the same time.
Oh god! And so instead of the horrid fucking just infernal screeching, there's just the I'm missing my and then it's just some celestial noise.
Dorime!
Your left
Every time
shoe?
Celestial is spoken, it's just Dorime!
Katja, how are you missing your left shoe?
Can't find it.
Can't find it.
Don't know.
I think it ended up on the roof.
I'm picturing that Failsy's early years as in the temple. She would have had like the worst speech impediment trying to speak snake.
Why is every S so long?
It's like, no, you got to make the S longer. It's like, I was hissing for like 30 seconds. No, longer. You sound weird.
We
Why
have
you-
six words that are literally just the letter S said a certain amount of times.
Why are you speaking it with such a weird Hume dialect? Because that's what I am. All right. Oh, right.
And in my mind with Katanoi Giant, she speaks it with a really weird accent. Her body's not really made to speak giant. She's very tiny.
You don't need to be big to speak giant.
It sounds better.
I won't deny that.
Look at Jelly. The only language she did not have actual training in speaking would be Sylvan, because the information got just shoved inside of her head.
Just like, hey, have this language. What? No? Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
have this language.
Same thing with Dorinche. With Celestial, it's just like, hey, have this language.
Well,
that's gonna be.
He got taught it in the course of 4 months.
Look at that little foot.
Yeah, you baby.
Decius would essentially only speak to him in Celestial after a certain point, so he was forced to become fluent in it.
Just like when you learn enough of a language and get high enough in the education, they only do it in that language.
Imbake.
Yeah, because the only way you'll actually obtain fluency is by only being exposed to the language.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's how he ended up being fluent in both Infernal and Elvish.
Oh, I forgot. Redemption actually does not know Celestial.
I don't think he
No.
did.
Oh, he only knows Infernal and Common.
Same.
Hey, bro, same. Stop breaking.
That's why I say, if the rest of the party doesn't know it, Brimstone doesn't know it. Everyone else has their own private language they can speak in. Brimstone doesn't.
God damn it, Brimstone Redemption only speaking Infernal around Keta, and she's just like,
Stop breaking! My cracker keeps breaking.
People that
I want
only
more
know-
bean dip.
People that only know Common listening to Redemption talk to his daughter, sounding like he's like yelling at her and being foul mouthed.
in
What do you-
reality,
What do you mean? It just sounds like two German people talking.
in reality, it's Redemption just pinching Keta's cheeks, calling her the goodest little baby.
I know I've jokingly compared it to real world languages before, but I always picture that Infernal sounds like parcel tongue.
God, I'm just.
Wouldn't Draconic be more like that because of all the hissing?
Wouldn't that be more the one you want T though language?
I
Well,
don't think UNT actually have a specific language outside of my setting.
Abyssal is what they generally use, or Draconic.
Yeah.
They generally know both, so. But yeah, Yuan-Ti don't specifically have their own Yuan-Ti language.
Armored, are you praying to your cat?
Yes.
No, I'm just getting a good look at her face. Her cute little face.
It looked like you were praying to her.
Contemplating the cute.
Pondering the cat.
He was pondering his orb.
God, I'm only imagining how many more fucking items we found.
Well, shall we get back to that list then?
We found 10 items. Unfortunately, only one of them actually works. The rest of them are defective from age.
Keta,
I've
I
thought
found
about
an
that
orb.
before.
I found an orb I would like to ponder.
Yeah, so yeah, it's like, when you get a toy, but batteries aren't included. Basically, now we're on a quest to go find magic batteries.
I mean, you
All
have a
right.
magic battery. She just
That
has
aren't
legs and arms still.
magic batteries that aren't made from the souls of people.
All right, is everyone good to continue?
Uh,
Yee.
I mean, without even picking up another thing, it's like in Fels' mind, it's like, well, we've got one thing to save Gregory. We just have to,
kill
stab
him
his head,
first.
and then we resurrect him. Job done.
Eh,
No, let's not do that.
Yeah, except he's a revenant, and we already know that wouldn't work.
You don't know that wouldn't work.
We also don't know what exactly this is doing to his body, because it's possible. It's entirely possible, since it severed Dravince's magical connection. It also severed Gregory from whatever makes him a revenant.
If I'm being completely honest with you guys, basically what's happening to Gregory's body is that his body is now, as far as biologically concerned, it is dead and it is rotting. But his
Yeah.
soul is still stuck inside of it until it can no longer maintain it.
So he's a ghost possessing his own
Corpse.
rotting husk.
And Morgan would
It-
very
yeah,
much
his
like
body-
to fix that because that's
Yeah.
her dad.
Yeah. His body is in the course of dying.
Yeah, it's shutting down all at once.
So, oh my
Alrighty
goodness,
then.
this is a lot of things.
That'd be the weirdest use of a scroll of resurrection. Then, like it's an already dead body, but it's still moving around. So we'll just jumpstart the body. Yeah.
Let me get the
No?
clamps.
Keep the clamps away.
Like you used grand magic for a finicky jumpstart.
Anyway,
Continuing on. In terms of physical items that you reach and pull out, the first one you grab is heavy and metal.
how is it heavy to the point like Jamel has to grab it?
No, Failsy can lift it, it's just very heavy. As you see this suit of... what type of armor was this again?
Oh, is this armor?
Plate mail. No one's proficient.
Or all spellcasters?
No. I just don't have proficiency with heavy armor because I didn't start fighter.
Sorry, it didn't tell me what type of armor it is. I'm having to open up this to get the details of what this was supposed to be.
I'm
Just
assuming
give me a
if
second.
na-
It takes...
I'm assuming if named armor, it basically bolts onto any common.
Well, some armor types have to be specific kinds. Like mithril and adamantine aren't light armor because there's not
Yeah,
metal.
That's what it was.
They're
I had
medium,
to
so-
I was having to find exactly what type because it just said male. It didn't say what type,
Oh, fair.
Male or
so I had to pull that up. Okay, so you pull out this set of armor, which appears to be made of almost like of a fish-scaled patterned, interlocking small metal plates.
mail?
Yeah, it is scale mail.
Oh, scale mail.
It is
Yeah,
it is a scale mail shirt. The material it is made of is exceedingly heavy, though, and it appears to be this sort of like weird, almost golden green color.
Oh, alright.
pretty.
This might be good for Morgan.
If you'd want to make an Arcana check, you can try to see if you know what this material is.
Or speak to me, Arcane. Reveal your secrets. Tell me your secrets.
Stop rolling so fucking high.
It's fine. This isn't even a terribly rare thing, so even Keta technically got this. The DC for this was 10.
Hey, I got something.
Alrighty then. This is adamantine.
Oh shit. This would be definitely very good for Morgan then.
Not a terribly uncommon material, but
Does it come
very
from
sturdy and very protective.
Does adamantine come from trees?
No. Adamantine comes from lava.
Comes from Tesvarel.
Yeah, it's a Tesvarel material.
Makes
It's
sense.
actually what a lot of their large infrastructure is made out of, but it's occasionally someone will get the artistry
that's
in them
out.
to try to make something small and actually artistically and physically useful out of it.
If
But
not,
it's largely used as a building material. You don't usually see it as a armor material in this world.
So Faz is going to call this house armor.
don't know.
Where
It's
you have?
adamantine scale mail.
Maybe Brimstone could also use it. Brimstone,
Why?
I'm here.
This would
Okay.
be medium
I like
armor.
that Jamel and Brimstone are like standing guard. Meanwhile, Dravinche and Motogun are now having like a really fancy steak dinner inside the cart with
They're
Elway.
having
Look,
having a date.
It's fine. Yeah. Let the lovebirds have their date with Grandma.
Which, by the way, Dravinche, after losing that much blood, good hearty steak is even better.
Yeah, all he's doing in the cart is sitting and eating/drinking. He is not getting up once.
Perfect.
Yeah, Brimstone's basically just like trying to figure out how to fix his gun in a way that won't break it.
Brimstone,
What?
you think you can wear this? Points to the scale mail.
Faz doing
I mean-
a quick prestidigitation to clean it off.
I mean, I could, but it's gonna offer less protection because I can't move as well in it.
We should get you stronger then.
You can't wear medium armor?
I can, but scale mail is 14 plus dex to a maximum of 2. That gives me 16 AC. I have 17 right now.
Oh, okay.
What does adamant do?
Adamantium prevents you from taking critical hits.
I also think scale mail has a certain strength requirement, and I don't meet
Nope.
that. Oh, does it
Scale
not?
mail does not.
What am I thinking
It
that
can't-
does? Oh, heavy armor.
Yeah, heavy armors have a 15 strength requirement.
I don't. Mel, do you even wear armor, or are you
No.
just kind of naturally?
My skin is stronger than that.
That is hot and yet terrifying at the same time.
Like, literally, you could try pushing a dagger into my skin and it just won't go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do. But fair.
I don't know if Dravince can use this, so we might
Probably
just
not.
keep it around. We might want to keep it around just in case.
It's also just straight up just a lot of adamantine, so if you took it to someone who's an armor smith, you could have it turned into another set of armor.
Probably a nice set of light armor for you. Probably a nice set of armor for you, Brimstone. Kind of one.
Would
I think.
I don't know if Brimstone would be able to recognize this as adamantine off the rip.
I mean, you have a positive intelligence modifier, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, that would mean your Arcana is high enough to at least recognize material, and plus, you come from Tesvarel, where this is used to make buildings.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's usually used in Tesrelian infrastructure. I don't.
Yeah, you
Think
mostly
it-
know it for the fact that it's roughly twice as heavy as iron. That doesn't imply any negative benefits, it's just heavy.
I don't know if
Yeah,
that really works for anything. lighter than this kind of fare. Just because
Maybe we could sell it at least to get some money.
it might be more useful for materials.
We can
I
sell
don't
it to
know.
somebody who's going to use it for material.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we shouldn't leave it here.
1 second.
No.
1 second.
Okay.
Besides, we're going to go to a very big city soon, so...
I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess it might have used for here.
I mean, if the Fae have not come to swarm this place because some nasty metal is here, I think we might be okay.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking maybe they don't necessarily have a lot of use for heavy infrastructure kind of metals. Just because, I mean, just kind of mentally returning back to Pedalfall. I don't imagine a lot of they use metal a lot at all, and if they did, it was more for like decorative.
And you never know who might want it.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's possible.
Yeah,
Can't really
Pedalfall-
discount the fact that. God.
Yeah, Pedalfall is mostly constructed out of stone, wood, glass, and hive structure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back.
And if
Welcome back.
anything, Dravenche could probably point us to somebody who might want it.
Alrighty then.
Do you want
the
to stay
next-
with us?
Go ahead.
Brimstone, do you want to stay with us so we can pull out more?
I mean, I guess.
Yay.
Alrighty then. Oh, Jesus, that's on. Okay, so the next thing you find is a cloth bundle.
Ooh. Is it fancy cloth?
The cloth itself that is wrapped around this object appears to be of a deep red and black color, and smells faintly of brimstone. Not the person, the material.
Rosie sniffs the
What?
package.
To be fair, that is also what brimstone smells like.
Yeah, I was gonna have Kenta sniff the cloth and then like lean over and sniff Brimstone.
Oh, great. So, on both sides of Brimstone, Ketu and Failsy are sniffing him.
You are being sniffed.
The robes smell like you.
It is a cape, not a robe.
Oh, well, the cloth smells like you.
Brimstone is being sniffed. From experience, just slightly unsheathes the blade of Oceanic Order.
Ah!
It repels Keta, but for some reason
It
it
repels
doesn't
both.
repel. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. It actually doesn't repel Felzy anymore.
Yeah. For some reason it doesn't repel fails. It just. Okay, that's weird.
Mean.
It's like, oh no, my defense is gone.
No, it's more just like, what the fuck?
It's a cape?
Yeah.
It is a deep red and black cape.
Is it like red on one side or black on the other?
It's red. It's like this deep maroon red on the inner lining and black on the outer lining.
Ooh, it's got one.
Ah, this looks really fancy.
It's surprisingly light for how big it is, because it is a proper cape where it like drapes down almost to the point of touching the ground.
Oh, so like a full circle one?
Full
That
half
covers your-
circle. Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
could be worn like all the way around the body.
I mean, given how small Keta is, it's just that probably is looks like a full
Yeah.
cape on it.
It also has a distinctly flared up collar.
Oh, this is dramatic. You
I
should
mean,
give it
yeah,
to.
pure aesthetics like Provinciary, but I
Uh,
mean, until we know what it does, I guess we can't really discount whatever it might be useful for.
Failsy, do you want to identify? Do you want to see what it is?
There was also 2 items inside of it
Ooh,
because it was
Oh,
rolled
like-
around something.
Oh, gotcha. It was like
So pretty much as you unrolled it, 2 things fell out of it onto the ground.
I'm
A
assuming
wand
neither one-
and It was a no, neither of them break. It was a wand and a ring that was on the wand
Oh,
that
it's
sort of like rolls off.
it's a cheesy magician setup.
I mean, potentially.
Is there any gems on the ring?
No, it actually looks like an exceedingly plain platinum band.
Ooh, that's really pretty.
It has, oddly enough, it has something very weird about it. There is engraving on it to be like a design, but it's on the inside, not on the outside.
What's the design like?
The design just looks like curling wind.
Ooh. Maybe it's something eventy.
Maybe.
And there's the wand. Do you want to roll it all back up together so we can take it back to the cart then, Failsy, so we can identify it?
Is this the last thing?
I think there's still more.
There are several vases on the inside of this as well that seem to be heavy and filled with something. And there is 2 more boxes on the inside.
The heavy sigh of
Sigh.
more fucking loot.
We want to just take everything in here and then like tote it back to the cart so we can maybe like look through everything.
At this point, yeah, you guys can just take everything
Yeah.
out of the inside and take it back in. Oh, there was another cloak as well. I forgot.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we're probably like between the 4 of us.
I mean, I think Jamel could probably just.
Jamel
vase
has
box?
to pick up the vases.
Okay.
Jamel can actually not lift this box, like the
Oh,
big box that it's
okay.
all in.
Okay.
It's a 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot deep stone
Oh,
case
Jesus. Okay, yeah, no, that's fair.
that's embedded in
And
the ground. Even
it's
Jamel
embedded.
cannot lift it up.
We'd have to dig it out, and at that point, it's not worth it. Just take everything inside.
Yeah,
Brevity,
I assume
so
between the rest of us we can get everything.
Yeah.
So for brevity, would you like Failsy to sit in the corner?
Identifying for like 2
Yeah,
hours.
you can. Yeah, you could just. It wouldn't be 2 hours. You could just
I don't
identify
know.
things while everyone's having their meal.
Yeah, I don't know how much
And
it
then
takes.
Come back.
I'll provide assistance with Failsy.
Okay, so
Oh, I'm just
You
writing
have to
down the
look-
list of the stuff that I need to identify.
I
Uh,
another.
okay, so
I guess for my own clarity's sake, before we get into this, if I'm repairing my gun out of combat, do I still need to make the check, or can I just?
I'll say you take the time to just repair it. What ended up happening to it, as I described before, was that whenever a round went off, it blew out the side slightly and bent the firing chamber to the side.
Mhm.
So you basically have to pull out the pin that holds the firing chamber in place to let it like rotate around, because I think it's a revolver, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you just pull out the pin that's holding that in place and replace it.
Okay.
You just notice that there must have been like a defect in the pin that was holding it.
Okay.
Okay, so identifying things while everyone is
Yeah.
back inside, now enjoying a nice steak meal.
Oh, this is good meat.
Yes.
What kind of meat is it?
That's just like, yes. Actually,
I believe this is a type of type of beef that is a delicacy around here.
Yeah, I picked it up when we were in Pettifor. They said all of it is apparently a beef that they specifically, and I don't know how healthy this is for the things, but they feed it honey while it's growing up, and the meat itself ends up having like this sweet savoriness to it.
Huh.
So if you're wondering why the sauce is real salty, I kinda was worried that it wouldn't taste very balanced without it.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Thank you, though. It's very nice of you.
Yes. Alright. The other items that you end up identifying. The potions from before are in fact potions of invisibility.
Haha, my stupid guess was right.
I mean, there aren't a whole lot of things that it's just water.
No, it literally looks like nothing is in the vial, but it
But you can
feels
hear
like
it.
there's liquid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can hear it and you can feel it.
Had the
Yeah.
stupidest idea.
The wand was a wand of secrets.
What is a man?
The wand has 3 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one of its charges, and if a secret door or trap is within 30 feet of you, the wand pulses and points at it, and points at the nearest one to you. The wand regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn.
Ooh, interesting.
The ring. It was a ring of free action. Because, Keta, you were actually a follower of Venti, from what I remember from everything.
If she is a follower of Venti.
You would be aware that this would actually be considered a holy item to a follower of Venti.
Oh! Ketty gets really excited as she realizes it.
Just as a question, if Da Vinci were to see, would he recognize it similar since he passed off as a follower of Venti a few times?
You would have to get pretty close to see it due to the fact that the engraving is purely on the inner edges of the ring. Otherwise, on the
Fair enough,
outside
he's
facing
not
it, it's
getting
a
up.
plain. Yeah. But if you did see it, yeah, it would be pretty apparent. It's a ring carved with these intricate wind patterns. The 2 capes that were found,
Oh, fun, alright.
or rather, one is a cape, and the other is a
there's
cloak. Yeah. It is a cape of the mountebank,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
The cloak, I'm gonna try to pronounce this word. Cloak of Arachidia.
Arachnia.
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 It's a spider cloak.
Yeah. It seemed to be like that might have been where a lot of the cobwebs were coming from, because it just idly sitting was producing cobwebs.
Oh,
And now
fun.
for the 2 things that were in the boxes.
And then the vases.
The vases have money in them and gemstones,
Yeah, that's why they're so heavy, because they're packed to the brim with money.
coins.
You have
Coins
money
and
now.
valuables.
Heyday.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fucking kidding.
This was a
Keta now
hoard.
has
It doesn't just have magical items, it has money.
Money
Yeah.
and potential art pieces and stuff like. Well, it's a smaller dragon.
These
Hey,
are
money
smaller
can
creature.
always come in handy.
It's money and gemstones with this one.
Correct.
Money.
Money.
All
is
right.
always used.
The smaller of the 2 boxes you open up has a book on the inside.
Ooh.
Ooh, a bookie.
It looks like an old leather-bound book that has no title on the front of it. Identifying it, because I actually have to see which one this is.
Fancy find another spell book.
One.
It might not be a spell book. There are a couple other books that exist in D&D that aren't explicitly for casting spells.
I forgot to pull up the full list of these things. I have been so unprepared because I forgot how much shit was in this place.
Like a manual of golems, which
Spellsy,
I don't think
also-
anyone can use yet, but eventually.
Any of Golems, the stat increase books.
Yeah, a manual of creating an iron golem. Oh no, we've given Failsy a possibility to make another friend.
Sorry. Manuals and tomes. Why does no one just make a list of things?
Engie.
I'm trying to find a list of all of the stat tomes.
There's 6 of them.
There's 6 of them? Okay.
6 of them, one for each step.
Yeah, I knew there was, but forget what they're all called.
3 of them are manuals and 3 of them are tomes.
Yeah. Okay, then. So,
That's the wrong book for that.
someone roll a d6.
May I roll it?
Oh, well,
Armored.
Armored. Yeah, Armored wants to, so go ahead.
All right, thank you.
Watch it be the
A
charisma
6.
one.
It might be.
6 would be the charisma one.
Cool, all you can fight over that.
Yep,
Okay,
all of you
so-
can handle that.
So,
No,
So
you're
you
part of
ident-
that.
You identify it, and
That's a tome of leadership and command.
leadership and influence.
Influence.
So it's the 4 of us now have to figure out who's gonna get it.
So yeah, you identify it, Failsy, and you identify it as a tome of leadership and influence.
ew.
If you can read its entire contents within a 1 week, because 1 week in this world is 6 days, time span, then you get the sense that you will gain a bit more force of personality.
Only one of us can read it.
Yes.
There goes Blink.
And the other one.
I don't think it goes blink. I think it just becomes a nerd.
There.
It loses its
It
it
becomes-
technically still is full of writing, but it loses its magical property to bestow its bonus for 100 years.
Yeah. So
it's-
functionally, we can only use it once because,
Mhm.
well, I mean,
Uh,
like Morrigan or Dravinci. I won't live long enough to use it again, unless Brimstone is really lucky.
we just toss it into the tower on a rope. Wait a week, pull it out, see if it had the time dilation to a century.
It is actually possible. I will
Toss it
not
in-
say that is impossible.
Toss it into the labyrinth.
Though the issue is, it wouldn't be able to be gotten back out unless you go in after it. And the other box.
Is this the bad one?
But
This is the thing that I forgot I put on the list.
Oh,
Oh boy.
So, you open it, and immediately you're just like, the fuck is this thing? Because at a glance, it almost looks like a staff. But as you're looking at it, you realize, wait, no, this isn't a staff. This looks like one of Brimstone's weapons.
what?
It looks like a really weird, fancy gun. Like a rifle. And as you touch it, it like crackles with arcane energy.
As he pulls out the rifle.
And you're going to identify it?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is one of these items I included into the world setting, forgetting about it at one point. That it was on a table. And then I rolled it, and it was on a table. So, this is an antimatter rifle.
Oh my goodness!
This thing is gonna take specialized ammunition, though.
Yes.
I know this
So,
is
it
brimstone
is
weapon,
not
but
just a antimatter rifle. It is a +3 antimatter rifle.
Holy
Shit.
I rolled a weapon to be in here to see if a legendary weapon would show up. And it wasn't a
And it
legendary
did.
weapon, like, because the legendary weapons have names in my world setting, and they're not all
Fair.
like standard D&D ones. But it rolled on the exceedingly powerful table, I'll call it. Then I rolled it again, and it was this thing. Because I forgot I put this on the list, because, lest we forget, in the Scattered Realms, aspects of all previous D&D worlds exist. Some of the futuristic worlds also existed that got turned as part of the Scattered Realms.
Holy shit. Now I have 2 guns that are just like, in case of emergency, use this.
You don't have
You at least know what this one does. As fails you identify this firearm.
That's true.
Bailsy is looking at Brimstone and saying, "Okay, now you have to teach me."
Yeah, so this firearm...
Immediate concern.
Yes. This firearm does 68 necrotic damage on shot. Uses ammunition. Has a range of 120 to 360 feet. Can hold
Fair.
2 rounds in its clip before reloading and requires 2 hands to use. It currently has 2 rounds in the clip and no extra are included.
Fair.
And when you actually like open up the chamber to look at them, you have never seen bullets like this. In the sense that they're in a very sleek steel bullet casing, which is not terribly dissimilar to something you've seen Brimstone make before. But the actual projectile on the inside, because the steel casing has this sort of like slight clear window on it, the tip of the bullet just looks like a little chunk of star matter. Like, it's just this black substance that you feel like you can see stars in. And the little clear window on the side of the casing has this bright blue light coming from the inside of it.
Just basically like, yeah, just basically you pop around just looking at it. I have no idea.
Brimstone, this looks like something Patton might understand.
I have no idea. But I do know a guy who probably would at least know.
The gun itself does not have a conventional firing pin or anything like that either.
Yeah, at this point, as long as fails, he is going to release the gun. Which is the major sticking point here, is will Failsy let him take the gun?
Bailsy is like looking at this, going, "You can have the gun, but you have to teach me to gun."
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Then
Oh,
you
do
can't.
you guys want to?
Then we'll see if you can have the gun.
Oh, guys, want to know what else we found?
What else
Spe-
did you find?
We found a couple scrolls. All written in old languages. Found one of resurrection.
What?
Found a scroll of resurrection. Written in old celestial. I'm not kidding you.
Cool. More stuff to make my head hurt.
There is a spell scroll in Old Infernal. Failsy, what? It something about gravity, was it?
Scroll of reverse gravity.
Yes.
Spell of Flippy-Doo.
There's a scroll of Hero's Feast in Old Sylvan. And she'll point to the bowl. It's supposed to create like a magical meal.
Hey,
More magical than you can do, darling.
give me it.
I mean, if Lee can learn how to recreate that, that'll be really fucking useful.
Well, the thing is, we need a bowl, something like this, and she points at the bowl.
I think if you, I mean, I don't want to see Lee get aggressive. Just
It makes food. I want to read its recipe.
And you read Old Sylvan?
Give me
He
that
might-
scroll.
he might be able to. Let's be honest. It wouldn't surprise me. He's
Would
very
it,
resourceful.
would it
Very-
actually have recipes in it?
It
I'm
might.
gonna read it. And I'm gonna find
We're
out.
gonna find out,
Be very careful with it.
or rather, Lee is going to find out.
Do you give him the scroll?
After like holding it as far as you can away from him, and just like be careful.
You
with it.
you can give him the scroll, but not the material component, and then he can't cast the spell.
Right. He takes it and walks over to the side of the kitchen, just starts reading through it.
Or at least looking like he's reading it.
Failsy, do you want to tell about the other skull that we found? Because I don't like it.
Yes. I think we found the magical nuke button.
It is a scroll in ancient Infernal. It makes me feel like I want to rip off my skin.
Okay.
Called a scroll of Dark Star.
What?
None of you know what
the
that is.
It
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
It is
What
familiar.
does that
feeling.
do?
Does it like shut the sun off?
Kind
'Cause
of.
Yeah.
that
Yes.
sounds terrifying.
In an area that I designate, everything dies. Everything gets
Basically.
smashed into the ground and dead.
Huh.
And Brimstone, it feels familiar.
I mean,
Looked familiar.
I don't. I mean, you know, I know magic about as well as I know any other language besides the ones I know. I mean, I don't know how spells are written, so maybe it's in a handwriting I can recognize. Mm.
Just don't. Be careful, please.
It's not like I can use the fucking thing.
You're being a little touchy here, Keta.
What part of the scroll made me want to rip my skin off? It's
I
like
know-
hard to understand.
I know what you're getting at. I just want to confirm if I can.
Failsy has a scroll. Not touching it.
Failsy, I'll do my best to try to teach you how to actually shoot a fucking gun.
Yay!
I make no guarantees.
I found a set of adamantine armor.
Brimstone, you go and look at that scroll, though?
It Failsy allows me to.
That was able to show the scroll.
I assume I can't really make heads or tails of what's written on it.
Oh, no, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. You look at it and you could read it perfectly fine.
I assume I
Hey.
recognize the handwriting.
Yeah, it distinctly looks familiar from the spell book you had previously found.
Yeah, and it's not the nice flowery writing of
No.
of my wife.
It is not that writing, it's the other handwriting. I'd also like for you to please make a charisma saving throw.
Oh.
As you begin
Oh,
reading
okay.
it.
Oh, is this one of those
So
hold?
relevant question: is the DC higher than 19? Because if so,
I'm not
there's
telling
no
you that
point.
answer.
Okay. It probably is.
You did not make it, at least.
Yeah. I
Brimstone,
figured.
as you're holding it and looking at it, and you begin reading through it, just confirming the handwriting, and you look up to tell everyone that, you don't notice this immediately, but everyone else sees as the scroll just sort of melts into his hand.
Oh god, he worked like yeah.
What the
And
fuck?
Brimstone, you look back down, and the scroll is gone.
The Failsy. I wasn't done.
No,
Neither was she.
I want that back.
Do you?
Brimstone, you feel kind of weird.
And
Like,
can
how
we just
so?
have at least another hour pass before something weird happens?
Is it insofar as like brain fog, or I'm sick to my stomach, or someone's watching me?
You feel like your body is vibrating.
Oh, fuck.
I don't like where this is going. I'm gonna start trying to make my way out.
As Brimstone goes to move, you all see multiple Brimstones as he walks forwards, and then where he was standing, he's still standing. And then a second later, he takes another step, and another version of him is there, like it's a frame by frame animation.
like a flip book almost, just in very slow
Yeah.
motion. Okay.
What?
Until he gets to the door, and the other Brimstones walk back into his back.
Yeah, just does like the vibrating feeling like lessen as I'm walking away, or
It does.
okay? So I assume like by the time I get to the door and they all kind of remerge back on me. Not that I see this. I assume it's more or less gone.
Yeah. You still feel a slight tingle, but you don't feel like you're about to explode.
Okay, that's just kind of turn around. What?
You certainly don't see that every day.
Did I just do a bad thing by telling him about?
Hold. Am I
Oh.
echoing?
You're echoing.
Just kind of look at everyone like with like.
Oh, okay. To say it straightly, yeah. When you moved, there was a copy of you that you left behind, and it started following you. And then there was multiple copies. I think there was like 3, 4 copies.
Seemed like one for
J-
every step.
Just kind of like
Did you just kind of...
raise. No, this is
Okay.
Myth talking, not Brimstone.
Okay. Just making
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Just kind of like raises his hand, and, like waves it in front of his face.
Yeah, when you wave your hand really quickly, you see like a weird ghostly after image of your own hand.
So I'm getting the feeling
And-
I should hold on to any magical scrolls before I hand them out to other people from now on.
And also, the scroll appeared to have absorbed into your hand, which is why we were commenting on it.
Huh.
That's fucking weird.
It's fucking weird.
And he's echoing, so we got to deal with multiple brimstones at once, apparently.
Do you just want to sit
Not
down?
sure if this is a good or a bad thing.
The vibrating feeling starts getting stronger again.
Fuck.
Fuck.
I just start walking back out. Or I guess turn around and walk out because he hasn't moved from.
You do so, there's no ghosting behind you again, but you make it a couple of steps outside before you're just like... You vibrate to the point where you feel like you suddenly get shunted to the side. And everyone can see this happening because it's just through the back door of the cart.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another one of him?
There is a weird, like, shadowy ghost version of Brimstone standing that basically gets shunted in the opposite direction that he did.
Okay, that's fucking weird.
Just kind of turn to look at this thing that I've registered in my periphery that came out of me.
It turns to look at you.
I don't think.
Raise your hand. See if it mimics you.
Please don't tell me you're my survival instinct.
I don't think so. And I'm fucking confused right now.
Okay, so am I. This is weird.
Oh, who's the real
Oh.
Brimstone?
It's pretty
I
clear
believe-
which one's
outside
real.
Drink.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's not like a doppelganger situation. It's very.
It
it's like
looks
Failsy and
exactly
Shadow
like-
Clone.
No, it's not like the Shadow Clone even. It looks exactly like you, but if it was made of static,
So we got
like a
Brimstone.
silhouette of you,
Poke it.
feels physical.
Hey, Brimstone, you want a drink? I think you could use one.
No, this is way more interesting.
Feels physical. Poking
like,
his
you-
side.
You poke it and it feels physical, but it's not entirely solid.
My fingers.
And
slipping
there's
a little
like,
bit.
it feels like its whole body is just vibrating at a very high intensity.
Oh, this feels weird.
So, you and me has a scroll of our father. I don't know how this works, and I'm assuming you don't either. If you're me, because you know magic.
Yeah, I
fucking
don't.
mad.
Yeah, fuck it. All I know is that I feel weird.
Yeah. I'm assuming the vibrating has stopped for me, or has
Yeah,
at least
the
gone
vibrating for you has stopped entirely.
Feels like sticking your finger into a hive of bees.
Gotta stop that. He goes to slap Keta's hand away, but his hand just disappears.
Oh,
This is turning into the, I think, the possibly weirdest day we've had thus far.
I've had weird.
Weird. The amount of weird magic bullshit going on right now.
yeah.
Ranger-
No fucking kidding. Does his hand like full disappear, or like it just apparates through Keta?
He goes to like move his hand to like slap Keta's from poking him away, and as it makes contact with Keta, it just dematerializes.
Okay, so now
Like,
he just doesn't have a hand.
Yeah, like just below the elbow is just gone now.
It's static. Shadow Brimstone. What do
I'm assuming he's has all my equipment as well. We're not looking at a naked Brimstone.
No, it looks like an exact silhouette of your body.
Got it.
But again, you can't see any distinct details, but like how you have your like gun strapped over your back, you can see he also has the fuzzy silhouette of your gun.
So, what do you remember, Shadow Brimstone?
Probably everything I do.
Well, I'm not a shadow, and I remember everything.
You look like a shadow.
I don't think it's a shadow. Failsy, what did this spell do?
Not this.
Well, yeah, but like, what was
You
it
mentioned
supposed
it
to
did
do?
like weird gravity shit, where it like crushed you.
I guess that would explain the vibration, but
It was supposed to like take out an entire city block, put it into complete darkness, and smash it into the ground.
all right.
That is not making a secondary person at all.
Yeah. Failsy, when you make your whole thing of you that's not you, what does that feel like?
It,
What does that feel like?
It feels like you make a magical duplicate of yourself. It's not you at all, you just make it look like you. Or rather, it's like you decidedly choosing to magically manifest one of your really strong emotions and give it a physical form. Like, It's frankly kind of painful every time you summon that, because you have to relive that emotion to summon it.
That's why I
But
failed.
you know there's like a whole incantation to bringing that forward.
It's not just violent shaking until second person appears.
Yeah, no.
At least
Yep.
you didn't explode, Brimstone.
Can I?
I mean, yeah, I
cast
guess.
Identify on Ghost Brimstone or Ghost Stone?
If he lasts long enough.
Yeah, you cast Identify on him.
I'll use a spell slot and speed up the ritual.
Alright then. Use a spell slot, cast Identify on Ghost Brimstone.
It still does take a minute. I don't know how long he lasts, but
This is how it always goes whenever these abilities show up the first time. Where they just sort of stick around for a little bit for the sake of context and storytelling.
gotcha. It
Especially
sticks
considering
around
you don't
for
have-
as long as necessary.
Yeah. Until story
Gotcha.
dictates otherwise.
Alright.
Would first be able to find like a connection between it from how it felt like when she was an Echo Knight in the
You
Game
didn't-
Master dimension?
No, because that was a different thing. That was weird facsimile of magic that wasn't actually technically real.
Because
Because that was basically you guys having a collective dream. So that didn't really feel like anything, you were just able to do it. You do cast Identify on Ghost Brimstone, and you identify it as Brimstone. There is nothing different than whenever you would cast Identify on Brimstone himself.
well, Ghost Stone is definitely a Brimstone. It's just
I
coming
don't think
back.
he's a ghost. He's like a magic copy.
Kind of.
There is something that is distinctly weird about it. There's something in your Identify that doesn't make much sense to you. You can tell it's Brimstone, but it feels like it shouldn't exist. Like you're touching something that isn't supposed to have happened.
So
Is the best way to describe what your magic is telling you.
I'm guessing we're gonna put this up to being a magical accident because this does not exist. Well, it's
Hey,
not-
join the club, Shadow Brimstone.
I
I-
don't know what's happening.
I
mean-
would have to imagine that's what it is. Considering, I don't think magic scrolls just fucking melt when you touch them. Maybe they do for me. I don't fucking.
I mean, all things
Oh.
considered,
He makes like a weird groaning sound.
Do you feel like you're just kind of like moving really fast before like we appeared?
No. Ugh. I feel like I have to lay down though.
I guess.
And it just sort of disapparates.
That's weird.
And you actually watch as it disapparates. It like turns into like the little particles of static just disapparate and then rush back into Brimstone. Like they rejoin into him.
Do I feel any different while this is happening and after it's completed?
You feel that slight buzz. Not like your body's actually vibrating, but like you feel like you've just been imbued with a certain amount of potential.
Just kind of like snap his fingers and make like strange motions, try to see if he can do it again.
Doesn't come forth again.
Join the weird club of.
You get this.
Family
You
ones.
definitely get the sense that if you were to focus on that, you might be able to bring it out again, though. But it might take some time.
That's weird.
Yeah. And as you're
Maybe.
thinking about it, the only thing that you can think about that makes any sense was right when it happened, you made a choice between dodging to the left or to the right as you were recovering from how you got hit by a force. And from what you saw, as you dodged to the right and looked over towards it, it did exactly the opposite choice you decided not to do.
It's like it's I mean, I heard Patton talk about it one time. Heard being a strong word for it. I kind of tuned out after 5 minutes. Something about some theory that every choice we make makes two universes, one that we live in and one that is the potential. He called it a divergent future.
Oh.
I had a feeling to dodge one way. I guess that had a feeling to dodge the other. But the inciting incident for what caused it.
It
Other than
felt like it
throwing
made
the
both
spell.
of the realities exist at one time.
For all I know, we all look like static to him.
Maybe.
How about we
I
just
think-
not focus on it? Have food and drink.
Do you want to hear about the rest of the good stuff we found?
I mean,
Sure.
yes.
One of them looks like they could really fit you, Da Vinci. It is your kind of style of over dramatic.
Sure. More magic nonsense. Let's do it.
I mean, look. At the very least, I can tell you, yeah, that was from the old man. But
So my feeling was correct then.
yeah,
Jamel has
Very-
actually been looking in those pots that she brought in, by the way.
Much... Are you sure all of them?
This might take a while. And she's just gonna tip one of them forward, and just gold and platinum coins are going to come pouring out.
Oh, jeez. They made out good.
damn.
Listen, I have a lot of money on my person, but this is a lot of money.
Yeah, no kidding.
This
Gonna take
other
us a
jar
while.
has some gemstones in it, though.
It's gonna take us a while to figure out all that stuff. I mean, gemstones can be useful.
There's
I can use them.
Yeah.
Just a rough estimate, by the way. I'm pretty good at counting coins. You know, habits. She
you
just
have a hold of
shrugs.
your own?
Maybe. Listen, it is the nature of a queen to love coin. Anyways, this is... I'll have to do a proper count of it, but this is over 20,000 gold pieces. I can tell you that much just as an estimate.
I'm sorry, what?
In terms of total value, or just on the gold alone?
Just on the coins.
Okay, so the coin total is.
This
Oh, I
smaller
imagine-
jar, and she just lifts up a much smaller container. This has a bunch of raw gemstones in it. I think Da Vinci might be better at giving you prices for those.
I mean, raw, less
Yeah, I
valuable
can-
cut, as far as I'm aware, but still.
Da Vinci would be able to tell you how much the cut version of them would cost compared to the raw version.
Fair.
Yeah, and he has the equipment to properly cut them.
Yeah, the
It would just
equipment and the
take
knowledge.
time.
Yeah.
Um,
Huh.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna-
I could do that Just maybe
Jamel would
tomorrow.
give you guys. I'm just going to do this for the sake of brevity, because Jamel would give you all the count of this, because she's been counting it this whole time. It is 32,000 gold, or 32,000 gold, represented in 14,000 gold pieces, and 1,800 platinum pieces.
Neat.
Could you write that out just so we can do
I'll put it in
proper
the game
math?
chat in a second.
Thank you.
It is
So
also 13 different gemstones, all of which are worth 500 gold pieces apiece.
Interesting.
Wait,
So I'm just gonna put this in the chat.
Just
Okay.
for a bit of brevity, can't we go over the other things that they found and then just get to the book? Like, so they found something very curious. Something that could benefit quite a few of us. What fails, he said, it is something that gives you more force of personality.
Okay, I can already tell that this is going to end up causing an argument. Can we please address it all tomorrow?
I'm just bringing it up so it's there and we're not hiding it from each other. I just want to say it out there. Now I'm going to go eat my food that is probably slightly cold by now.
No, it's too warm.
I do that. Don't know.
I'll put it in the
So-
oven. It's gonna be a little overdone, but it's still gonna be nice and warm.
It's fine. So, how is everybody feeling after that adventure down there?
I mean, other than that, fine, I guess.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I actually feel quite good.
Oh, you went in after we dealt with that fucking thing.
Yeah, that
you all
sucked.
look like you're in need of a good night's sleep.
You know, and until it decided, oh, I'll just take your fear away, and then I fucking more or less killed it. And then I tried to come back, then, Da Vinci.
So, what you, from my understanding, what was mostly down was most likely down there was corruption.
Yes. I've seen that material before.
So have I.
You saw the form it took, because it decided to come back and do one last snappy bite. Didn't work out too well for it, now did it?
Not really, but facing corruption is never an easy task. It lays bare all the things that you don't like about yourself.
Huh. So that's what
Yes, as you mentioned before.
That's why I saw what I
And
did
it-
then. Why wasn't I afraid
could-
then, though?
It could be very traumatic to deal with that. I've had to deal with it on my own, and I can't imagine what it was like for you guys. If you would like to talk, I have open ears. I will offer. I am not as good as my mother at this thing, but I am a friend to listen.
You just tried to show You just tried to show me you were being sad. I didn't like that.
Also, Dravenche, do you know any really good tailors in the capital?
Do you want names, skill levels? So are you
I need something ancient to be repaired properly.
You're talking about a city that has people who are older than Granum himself. Yes.
Good. She just kind of touches the robes that she has in her lap.
I will say, just from my own knowledge, that old fabrics do degrade over time. So it's best to put that into a box, have nothing disturb it until we can get there, and maybe someone can create a pattern off of it, or know something more about fabric than I do.
I'm gonna see if Halsey can mend it slightly just so it's not going to degrade, but I don't want to give it up. It's just means a lot.
Keta?
But
He pauses
yes,
for a bit. What was Desus like to you, if you don't mind my asking?
she pauses, puts down her knife and fork. She was my only friend in a dim darkness that was my capture. She was the only time I knew I was awake and I was not dreaming. The one supportive figure that I had. She made sure that I was okay and gave me hope that I could continue on because honestly, there was times that I had no hope. She talked to me. She made me feel safe. And I miss her. Well, stupid to say because she's not gone, but still.
Certainly rather different than how I know her. My apologies for making you feel upset.
It's fine. I just need to get over it. It's fine. And she just starts shoving her mouth full of food. Um, if it means anything, you guys can take your rest since I didn't do much fighting. I'll take watch tonight for a good portion and I'll make sure everything goes okay. You all need your rest.
Hmm.
And again, the offer is there. My room's open if anybody wants to talk. Um, she just pushes her plate forward and just heads to her room.
Would you like for me to tell you all what I would like to say before or after you have these discussions?
I mean, probably best to get it done now.
Hmm. Fair enough. That man, the one you saw in the moon that night, I recognize him. And she sort of steeples her fingers in front of her mouth. Quite a moment.
Ash, you keep cutting out.
Probably because my microphone is far from my face, and Elway's voice is
Probably.
inherently quieter. But I do recognize him from a long, long time ago. In my time, my my youth, I suppose you could say, or at the very least. And she seems to think for a moment. Well over 1,000 years ago. Longer than that, even. He was the child of Magisteria. Ambrose. And I remember what he had control over. And what made him so powerful.
What was it? Although I can hazard a guess.
He was the Asmar with the direct control over connections.
Connections to elsewhere, or
To magic, to soul.
uh,
He was able to manipulate one's connection with the weave. Because it was his very mother who from the weave was born.
right?
But given what has happened to his mother, his ability to manipulate connections clearly has expanded beyond that.
And an Asimar change or expand their aspect?
It's possible. If the divine heritage itself changes, something in their divine blood alters, their aspect can be changed. At least if they are a direct descendant of a god, rather than one reborn. No, there is a far darker way. And I know not if it's one of he has employed. Because he felt to have more power than he should, even despite how powerful his aspect was. I tell you all this in confidence, that I trust you all. But it seems as though he may have performed the rite of devouring.
The what?
The rite of devouring. Ancient and old magic. Forbidden, even in the time it was created. Or discovered, I suppose you could say. Gods before our own discovered it. Where divine essence scattered can be claimed and consumed by another being.
So,
The predecessor to the one now known as Grima performed it. And as such, it was a rite sealed away forever.
right. Because I'm guessing there's not really a good application for something like that on a more scale.
It would depend.
So,
Every god as you know it now, or some of them at least. Aquila, she says with a grit to her teeth. Ignesia. They both perform the rite of devouring.
on Altia.
No,
Would it be on whatever they had to do to Kane there?
divine sparks.
Yeah, that.
They did it to two of the first Leviathans. Back when we were more than just ocean-dwelling creatures. Even Toreshva has not completed his rite of devouring yet, and still chases his. Venti, however, she just smiles a bit. She was a kind girl, and she fit the bill. There's a very wistful look in Elway's eyes.
Fit the bill for what?
To be the divine of freedom, the divine of air. I chose her for that reason.
I was about to ask. So you gave yours to them.
Yes.
I guess that would explain the bird thing.
Yes.
I guess the difference there is that you were willing, I assume.
I didn't
Can't
used
you
to look
hear
like a
this?
bird. I used to be the winds themselves.
Oh,
Before I was Elway, I was called Tempest. But I like Elway. It has a nice ring to it.
huh.
I
Right.
took a form that felt comfortable.
It sounds to me the only god we can really trust now in the world because they were given their power freely is Venti.
I mean, and
And
Granum.
but
So
he
if you
still
just-
doesn't want it.
I mean, of the ones we
He does-
haven't met yet. How's that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know much of Ignesia.
So,
I don't think inherently that her taking her power
What-
is a terrible thing, though.
What
Phoenix
about
was always fickle and destructive, needing to be caged, if you were to ask me.
it might have been a mercy to do that.
What about Aquila? If it's too painful,
He slaughtered. Jezebeth. Titan. No. Jezebeth used to be known, and is where our name in the common tongue now comes from. Leviathan.
this crab that Terestatus also have a proper name?
Yes.
Can I know it?
It's one of those things where I have to look at my own pronunciation guide because a crab always just gets called a fucking crab.
Goddamn crab wants to break my islands! No, I know that's not what he. Even though I know he's Maui and not redneck, but
Yeah.
just what I picture every time.
Eterna.
Eterna. It's a very pretty name.
But you say that that one's incomplete?
Yes, but its game of cat and mouse is one it brought upon itself willingly.
Does it think it's fun? Or do they think it's fun?
I've
It is
seen them play. They seem to enjoy it.
So what, Trista just has to win the game then, and
Yes. Terrestra wins the game, he gets his spark. Fair game.
At least it's better than the alternative.
The only one I know for a fact, or though I may be biased in this, that I despise is Aquila.
As he forcefully took his?
I mean, it's like easy had to do the same too, but
It means there's a bit
Imagine.
more of a mercy.
I imagine Leviathan was a lot less destructive in nature than the Phoenix.
Leviathan was supposed to go to someone for our own right and for this world's protection. It was supposed to go to someone peaceful. But the way of the ocean has always been one of peace and of war. And one obsessed with combat and conflict found it first. He won it by right. In combat it was won.
Still doesn't mean
But
you
he
have to
still
like
can-
it.
But he still continues to think he can gain more power through the slaughter of more Leviathans.
I guess I can't say I'm surprised, but
I mean, he proclaims himself to be king. He has the most, I guess, terrain as the ocean. Still doesn't give him a right to cause endless slaughter.
I don't think there's anything that gives a person right to that.
So all agreed we can hate on this god.
I certainly am not going to oppose you there.
So, when you talk about himself, do you meet him when he first shepherded everyone?
Yes. Not everyone. There were other divines in smaller aspects that shepherded to this world. But he shepherded the most.
So, himself carried the spark of life with him from where he came from to here.
Yes.
The just kind of air quote elemental essences were already here with your people, and then given or taken.
Yes. To be given to the mortals, as mortals should rule mortals.
Right.
What led to the last world's destruction was gods playing too much of a hand in the rule of the world.
But not having to suffer the consequences of what they did.
Then what became the need for a rise for those heroes? If things went decently, then why need the heroes?
I mean,
Because one god that came over found something in the void between then and now.
and Corvus.
Yes.
Yeah,
Something struck the divine known as Io. You know the word dragon.
The
Vaguely.
dragon.
Dragon Io was all that dragon should be. But something called to it in the void. And its lust for power allowed it to bring corruption into the world. The
That's why
very
we
same
need-
corruption that destroyed the last.
And ultimately, since the heroes might have been from the old world, they might have been the only ones that could help fix it.
So,
And they were the only
Corvanus.
ones strong enough to oppose it. In that moment, at least.
Does that make Corvanus a god, technically? If it's a god corrupted? Or is it something
Yes.
in... No. Hmm.
Though
I guess-
perhaps it's more accurate to say it was a god.
Now it's just a shell of one.
Right, because if it was still a god, it would have probably found another body by now.
Yes.
Kind of like how,
Whatever
I mean,
We shattered its divine spark so that it couldn't reform. And she actually looks over to Jamel.
who still has the egg?
She's not looking at the egg.
Oh.
She's
Oh,
looking
she's
at
looking
Jamel.
At what?
Does she have a spark of him?
Look at her. And she's just counting coins right now, completely distracted. She's got like little stacks.
Kata looks up at Baba. I don't know what a dragon looks like.
She has
You've
like
seen
nice...
like the created images of Corvanus before, and you've seen the hilt of the sword from Arya.
It's. I mean, I can see it.
I like to think that she has like nice little stacks for like the rest of us, and then fails. They've been arranged in like a heart.
No, it's not like
Or-
counting it out to like divvy it out. It's literally just counting
just-
it to tell you how much is there.
We got it.
So the spark went into people, but did it also go into? And she kind of points to the egg.
I
Yes,
mean, I don't
it
necessarily
was
know.
shattered apart into those eggs, hidden away in the well springs.
So does that mean that if someone like her were to collect enough of them, that
Only if she
She's
were
got-
to
I
think
devour it.
I think she'd still need the spark of life, though, if she would want to bring him back in full.
Do you mean
Because-
Arya, or do you mean Jamel?
Arya. Nah, not you, Jamel. Arya was looking for himself. That's why she was questioning Amulek's. But Amulek doesn't know. And she separated my divinity from me in an attempt to find him.
Hmm.
Wait, does that mean?
I think she might be trying to revive him.
Does that mean? Could those eggs hatch into like creatures? Or
They should.
okay, so it's possible that's where Jamel comes from. Maybe I don't know.
Mel, did you come from an egg?
What? Yes? Yes, my mother
okay.
gave birth to me in an egg.
Is it rainbow?
Do you see how my scales look?
Yeah.
It looked like that.
So, kind of, yeah. In comparison to the egg that she has, where it's like more like
It looks like a giant opal more than it looks like an egg.
right in comparison to her scales, which are just like oil slick iridescent. At least
Her
as far as I
scales-
remember.
Yeah, they're kind of like opal slick or oil slick iridescent, but they also kind of almost look like a black opal.
Mm.
Here's the bigger question. Would it be miniature corruptions that would hatch from the egg? Or like a new creature?
If it was corrupted, probably.
It's possible
That's
that
why they
that
were
egg
sealed
hatches.
away.
It's possible
But
that if that egg. Oh, there.
Go ahead.
It's possible that if that egg hatches, it just becomes what we just killed.
But in this
I don't
case,
see
we
any-
killed the corruption.
I don't see
Maybe.
a speck of corruption left in that egg.
So it would become what it was before, then?
A little dragon!
I'm wondering if. Well, the one that we discovered in the other wellspring was sealed away and locked and all that, so.
Yeah, that one had.
How did this one. The egg hatch by itself and it was seized by corruption, or was it already corrupted when it was sealed away because of who it came from?
You know for a
maybe-
fact that Arya already knew where this wellspring was.
Maybe corruption found it?
Maybe the cult had something to do with it.
I don't know. Corruption is weird. Hard to understand.
Yeah.
I know healing magic has expelled it from Graynham's head. That took a very powerful healing spell.
He killed this thing and it seemed to purge the corruption away, but
And I killed my
Corruption.
corruption.
Heroism and confidence and willpower are able to banish corruption back to where it should be, the farthest reaches of the void where it should never return from.
So heroes.
Yes.
I guess it's a good thing we got Dreventure.
Well, he's not the only hero.
I'm going to point this out.
No.
Only Dravinche knows that he is the Azamar of heroism. You guys don't know what he is. You just know he's an Azamar.
I mean, if you think about it, there's those heroes like a long time ago. Now, there's like 5 of us. There's 5 of them. See what I'm getting? Listen, no, I'm not. The 2 of us have bloodlines of the heroes. Come on.
Oh, I'm not laughing, saying that your thought is ridiculous. Your thought is probably more accurate than you think, and I don't like it.
Oh, you're stuck with it now because I vocalized it.
He just kind of grumbles. Uh, anyway. Hmm,
Hmm.
is there anything else you wish for us to know about Elway?
That's what's come to mind right away. While I was in that pool of magic, I felt my faculties returning to me.
That's good. I was
Being
really worried
starved
about
for
you.
so long didn't exactly leave me in a good state.
Why were you starved?
Well, the saying is true. You're not you when you're hungry.
I was starved because I was trying to die.
Oh,
Tried that before. Magic sword saved me from a lake.
do you still want to die?
She kind of like squeezes you close to herself. I have children again. I don't need to.
And my favorite is Kendrick kind of like wraps her arms as best she can around her. I
Not
still call you
terribly hard.
grandma.
She didn't get any taller.
Can I still call you grandma?
I would love that.
She just tucks herself up next to Ellie in her little cocoon.
Although careful now, some of these children end up being rather reckless.
You are certainly right with that.
I know you're
I hope
probably
you
talking
realize you're
about
also
me and
talking
Phil.
about yourself too, Ranger.
I ran face first in into the area and got jumped by a dragon. What do you expect?
I was gonna say,
I'm
you
not
are
leaving
also.
myself blameless.
Okay.
As long as you're aware.
Yeah, basically.
She was already well aware of me and Failsy.
I make no apologies.
We know you don't. Well. For now, that's what's come to mind. I've many thoughts I'm sorting through.
I do have a
No.
question. Since Elway, you would know probably best regarding corruption and the scope of these things.
If it's happened within the last 1,200 years on the mainland, I don't know.
No, it's not that.
He looks really
It's
good.
Yeah, she's been on her island a very long time.
Yeah, that was a
it's
little like, God damn.
the corruption has showed us. Those were just visions supplied to us by it seeking something in our mind. Is that correct? That
I
there's
mean,
no truth to them?
yeah.
That is not to say that there is no truth to them. There is
But
truth in all fears. But if
they are.
you are asking if they are real events, then I cannot say for certain, but the chances are low.
Ah, God, I
They,
hope not.
they are not visions of things to come necessarily, more your concerns for the future made manifest.
Rinche breathes a sigh of relief.
Oh, I need
Or
to talk to him.
things
I need
that
it.
could have.
I know. It's different for everybody, and it's weird for everybody.
Yeah.
I saw a whole forest get eaten by corruption.
Well, you were facing more than just your own.
True. I was
From
facing
what you told
whatever.
me, at least.
I was facing whatever it was. But I am gonna. It's just kind of snows. I'm gonna take a nap right here.
All right. And unless there's anything else for the moment, because obviously the other discussions are going to happen next session, I think that's where we can go ahead and end off for tonight.
May I have one scene?
Okay.
Just Travince retiring a bit early and trying to reattune to the watch.
That's going to be next session.
Okay.
And we'll probably have discussions before that because people need to talk about things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Failsy, can you do the whole mirror thing today, or is that gonna have to wait till tomorrow?
I still got a little bit left in me for that.
Okay. I gotta see if I can try to get a hold of someone who can tell us a bit more about, and just kind of holds up the antimatter rifle. This fucking thing.
Alrighty then. You open up the mirror connection. And we'll cover that in between games, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna. I don't know what I want to say, so yeah, I was gonna ask if we could just do that in between.
I think with how we do the mirror thing, you basically just get to have a conversation because it could be cast as a ritual.
I suppose.
It's just a weird conversation that has breaks in between.
A very long, protracted conversation.
It just fails. He constantly resetting the modem.
Yeah, basically.
Smack, 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 smack.
Yeah,
Get up!
Yeah. 10 minutes of smacking a modem per exchange of words.
Oh, it's dial up.
What do you expect? This is a level 2 spell.
Well, yeah,
Alright.
I know. Anyways.
Alright, so. Failing anything else? I wait.
No, I am good.
Nope.
Yeah.
Besides, anything that Kat has to say would be in private.
Alright.
While everyone fights over who gets a.
That's for later. That is
no.
for later on.
Not everyone. That's 3 of you.
Alright. Mulligan?
Nothing from her, because the thing I want to do with my character had to do with the discussion of the vision, so...
Alright, so that'll be covered next session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, then let's go ahead and wrap up for tonight. So we can have after game discussions. And I can scream at myself for letting you guys have these items.
Alright, well...
All this gold.
Shouldn't be too... take too long to do stuff. Anybody got anything to announce, promote, or shout out, or just, something cool that happened in the past week?
Filzy make good art.
Yes, obviously.
Right.
We
No, I
must shout out our artist, Fail Trolls. You did magnificent work on LA.
Thank
I
you.
don't know if we can advertise your Twitter because very not safe for work.
I should probably get around to making a new one.
That up to you.
If you ever want to, and do make a safe for work Twitter, we are going to be promoting the shit out of it. I hope you know this.
Yeah, we have to work on figuring out how to do that.
Yes, Filzy must figure out how to not be naughty.
Fair. So, other than shouting out our own Fail Trolls here for the lovely art, anything else from anyone?
No.
Not right now.
Andy, Armored, anything from y'all?
I'm good. Good.
I get to read game chat
Yep.
now.
Okay, well then. That being said, other than the possibility of a to be announced safe for work art Twitter from our own fail trolls, if you did tune in and liked what you heard tonight and you want to join in with us for the next session of what's going to happen, you can join us on this Twitch channel most Saturdays at or around 8 p.m. EST for more Scattered Realms. And there may or may not be other streams on other days of the week in the future. Still working on that. It's all wibbly wobbly timey-wimey.
Rhino eat pumpkin.
But, yeah, until further notice, we're still just doing Saturdays. So, with all that said, everybody want to say goodnight?
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. There are two of me now.
Not yet.
Yes. That stupid thing is holding on to my headphone cord. Sorry, I need to... Physical technical difficulty on my end. Sorry about that. But yes. Good night, everybody. We'll see you when we see you next.